Chapter 97, Lotus, 5. Translating novice. Is there something uncomfortable? No. Thank you for your hospitality, Cultivator Chongmon. I face Chongmon Ryong while hiding my emotions. He looks puzzled but does not ask further and takes a seat. I sit down as well. I heard you came to discuss formations with me. Yes. I saw a spell a nascent soul cultivator used the other day, and I wanted to create a formation based on that framework, so I came to consult with Cultivator Chongmon, an expert in formations. Can I see the kind of formation you are talking about? I show him the design of the formation I have planned. Chongmon Ryong looks over the formation for a while and says, So, this is a formation that concentrates strong energy to transform into life force, thereby accelerating the growth of heaven and earth spiritual plants, correct? That's correct. That's inefficient. It would be faster to use the filthy methods of the devil path to refine life force and pour it in. Why do you think such a formation has never been developed? Even if you pour a foolish amount of spiritual energy, it's bound to be slow in accelerating the growth of spiritual plants. This is a very important matter to me. Is there really no way? After examining the formation for a while, Chongmon Ryong looks at me and asks, Cultivator CEO, I don't think you came to me with such a foolish formation structure. You must have some more information to request my help, correct? I nod and take out another book from my belongings. It's a book recording information regarding the longevity tree and longevity fruits. I've done detailed research on the heaven and earth spiritual plant I want to accelerate in growth. The species of the spiritual plant, its location, the condition of the surrounding dragon veins, the uniqueness of the area. I even know the current state of the spiritual plant. It's just about to bloom and bear fruit, and it will be fully ripened in a few hundred years. I want to use the formation to accelerate the ripening period by a few hundred years. Chongmon Ryong carefully examines the book I gave him, stroking his beard. If that's the case, a formation that only applies to that particular spiritual plant and accelerates growth for a few hundred years. As he looks at the book, he suddenly shudders. The longevity fruit. Just one fruit can extend life by 100 years. That's right. I should mention this to the clan head. A spiritual plant that can extend life by this much is a tremendous treasure, especially for the core formation clan head. Especially now, with the Ascension Gate open and many heavenly being cultivators having ascended. Maybe I can get support from the clan head. He asks me questions about the book and the formation, and we end up talking through the night. It's already dawn. Is there an issue? It's been a while since I had so much fun. But I have to report to the clan head, so I must leave. Daoist CEO, among the chi-building cultivators I've met, you are the most knowledgeable and have an outstanding understanding of cultivation methods. Honestly, when you first presented that nonsensical formation structure, I thought you were mad. Thanks to you, I've learned a lot. No, I've learned more from Daoist Chongmon. Daoist, a nickname among cultivators of equal standing who are close. He seemed to like me after talking through the night, and at some point, he started calling me Daoist. This foolish disciple. Cultivator CEO. Daoist CEO. How my title changes over time. Someday, will the word senior come out of Chongmon Ryong's mouth? As I see Chongmon Ryong off, I feel a lingering bittersweet taste. As I grow more powerful, I can surpass fate and witness new miracles and changes. But somehow, I feel some things should remain unchanged. I'm afraid of the day senior might come out of Chongmon Ryong's mouth. Cultivator CEO. Did you have a good talk with Ryong Hyung? Cultivator Chongmon Dan. Chongmon Dan, who had led me to the main house, approaches and asks. It's been a long time since I've seen Ryong Hyung talk so happily. He always grumbles that there are only muscle heads in the Chongmon clan. It seems he really enjoyed himself for the first time in a while. I only asked Cultivator Chongmon questions. To say he was happy makes me feel embarrassed. Asking proper questions is no small feat. Cultivator Chongmon Ryong always complains about the ignorance of other chi-building elders. Last night, listening to your conversation, it was rare not to see his usual prickliness. I'm truly impressed by Cultivator CEO's knowledge. That's kind of you to say. It's just that my master taught me well. I swallow the bitter taste in my mouth and force a smile. I see. May I ask who your master is? I apologize, but I prefer not to disclose my master's name. I understand. It seems you are young, too. I wish even half of our clan's younger members are like Cultivator CEO. Chongmon Dan sighs, talking about how the recent generation is chasing after easy success in women, and how he should assemble them all and discipline them to restore order. After some idle talk, Chongmon Dan glances at me and asks, What about it, Cultivator CEO? If someone with your knowledge can lecture our clan's younger members. He's making an offer for me to join the Chongmon clan. It's a respectful proposition, unlike the ridiculous act of forcibly taking someone of equal status as a son-in-law. I'm afraid that being affiliated with a particular place doesn't suit my nature. That's a pity. You have such a firm conviction. I wish my descendants could learn from you. You're having a tough time with the young generation of the Chongmon clan? I recall the siblings from the Chongmon clan who had been freely throwing punches at the Spirit Path conference. If all the younger members of the Chongmon clan are like that, it must be a headache for the elders. Well, it's not so much difficult as it is frustrating. No, not frustrating. But it's infuriating that they're bewitched by strange rumors, neglecting their cultivation and chasing after women. Chasing after women? Chongmon Dan thumps his chest in exasperation. This is all because of the Mad Lord. Damn it. Since everyone saw him roaming around the whole world before the Ascension Gate, they believe anything related to him must be inherently good, leading some to blindly follow him. Among them, the most troublesome is the top heir of the RTOC clan, that rascal. Despite reaching Qi building, he behaves disgracefully, enticing even the innocent children of the Chongmon clan to chase after women with him. Chongmon Dan thumps his chest again, clearly angry. What exactly happened, if I may ask? It seems he was frustrated and desperately wanted someone to listen to his grievances. Just listen. Biok Munsong of the Biok clan one day found a cultivator in Biokra with the same qualities as the Mad Lord, a heavenly being cultivator. What? I'm shocked and look at him in surprise. The same qualities as the Mad Lord. Yes, the same kind of qualities as that mad old man. Therefore, not only the Chongmon, Biok, and Gongmyo clans, but also cultivators from other countries showed interest. However, it turned out that although this cultivator has the same qualities as the Mad Lord, their qualities are far inferior to the Mad Lord. What kind of qualities are they? Chongmon Dan looks at me somewhat incredulously and asks, don't you know about the Mad Lord's qualities? The Mad Lord was born with a talent known as Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent. Those with Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent show a natural aptitude for creating magic artifacts, formations, puppets, and such. When they concentrate on creating something, strange patterns appear on their skin, and the number of colors in those patterns determines their rank, from Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent of 7 pattern to 1 pattern. The more colors, the more impure and useless the talent. Fewer colors indicate a purer and more innate talent. That's quite a unique quality. He continued. Well, true talent in Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent ranges from 1 pattern to 3 pattern. 4 pattern to 5 pattern is just average, and 6 pattern to 7 pattern is practically useless in creation. I listened to Chongmon Dan's explanation. But the cultivator found by Biok Munsong is just a 4 pattern Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent. He discovered a mediocre talent and exaggerated it, as if he found someone with the same qualities as the Mad Lord. Claiming that securing this person would be a tremendous contribution to their clan, he lured not only his own clan's younger members, but also those from the Chongmon and Gongmyo clans to chase after the woman. That's unfortunate. If it were someone from the Chongmon clan, I'd have given them a good thrashing, but I can't do that to the heir of the Biok clan. It's infuriating. You must be deeply troubled. Just then, I just discussed this matter with the clan head. Oh, Chongmon Ryong came out from the main house of the Chongmon clan and spoke to us. The clan head suggested that, together with Taoist Co, we should completely eradicate the root of this problem. What do you mean, Ryong Hyung? The information about the longevity fruit brought by Taoist Co. After discussing it with the elders, the clan head decided to support us unconditionally. It seems the information about the longevity fruit and its accelerated growth was told among the clan head and elders. But what does that have to do with solving the problem? Well, we need to study formations with Taoist Co, and we need someone to provide the magic artifacts for the formation. Chongmon Ryong slowly explains to Chongmon Dan and me. So, the clan head plans to formally request that woman who's been causing a stir among the clan's younger generation lately to create the magic artifacts for the formation. By placing an order in the name of the Chongmon clan, and having that woman busy in her workshop, we can legally deal with any of the young heirs from our or other clans who cause trouble, considering it an interference with the Chongmon clan's affairs. Indeed, even though she's only a 4 pattern Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent, she's still a highly talented artifact craftswoman, certainly capable of producing satisfactory results. Yes, that's likely. Haha. Thanks to the formation brought by Taoist Co, we can also resolve the issues with our troublesome younger generation. Chongmon Ryong grins and pats my shoulder. Suddenly, I have a question. I understand that those with Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent are naturally skilled in creating magic artifacts and such. But what level of this talent does the Mad Lord have? Is that even a question? Obviously, he's a 1 pattern Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent. The Mad Lord's talent is truly demonic. Just imagine, before the Ascension Gate opened, many heavenly being cultivators fled whenever the Mad Lord appeared. Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan, who might have seen the Mad Lord before, both suddenly shiver. Not as high as 1 pattern Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent, but still a 4 pattern Extraordinary Pattern Law Talent. I become curious about the cultivator who possesses the same kind of talent as the Mad Lord. Well, Ryong Hyung, We should proceed in the Chongmon clan's decisive manner. Should we just kidnap her? Yes, let's go and kidnap her quickly. What? I can't keep up with Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan's conversation and ask them for clarification. Aren't we supposed to place an official order? Indeed. However, the magic artifacts for the formation must be continually refined and experimented with as we research the formation. Wouldn't it be better if the Chongmon clan makes them and conducts experiments directly? That's why we plan to kidnap her and have her create the artifacts. Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan look at me as if wondering what the problem is. Right, this clan is known for its excessive boldness. After all, this is the clan that tried to kidnap me for a forced marriage when I was weak. We will officially pay her and place a proper order after kidnapping her. The plan under the clan head's name won't cause her any harm, other than temporarily changing her residence. I hesitate, not knowing where to start objecting, and then sigh softly. How about we first meet this 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent cultivator, and then ask for her opinion? Anyway, Chongmon Ryong, Chongmon Dan, and I flew eastward to Biokra on a flying artifact to kidnap the 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent, the creator needed for the formation. Wait, this direction is. I feel a sense of déjà vu. Daoist CEO seems a bit unfamiliar with the Chongmon clan's way, I assume? Ah yes. Chongmon Ryong strokes his beard and speaks. People of our main house don't act thoughtlessly like thieves. We observe the situation and act appropriately. It's just that, according to our clan's principle, we tend to be a bit more aggressive. Chongmon Dan continues. We're not kidnapping the artifact craftswoman just for our sake. Right now, that woman is surrounded and troubled by the heirs of not only the Chongmon clan, but also the Biok, Gongmyo, and other clans. She might even prefer to be under the protection of the Chongmon clan. Thinking about what Chongmon Dan said, it seems that from the craftwoman's perspective, this might not be such a bad option. The founder of our clan, ancestor Chongmon Chongho, once said, always consider the other's perspective when you act, but once you take action, do it boldly, no matter how. I see. Thinking about it, the Chongmon clan's attempt to capture me for a forced marriage wasn't entirely bad for me. A bit aggressive, but always considering the other's perspective, that is the Chongmon clan. But this direction, could it be that the 4-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent cultivator is? In the distance, the skyline of the easternmost part of Biokra begins to appear. Ryong Hyung, are we going to use ropes for the kidnapping, or do it stealthily? Let's do it stealthily. Translator notes, extraordinary pattern law talent. What a mouthful. Chapter 98, Lotus, 6/translating novice. Whoosh. Facing the sandstorm of Cheon-sik City attached to the heaven-treading desert, Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan packed a large cloth and scanned the area below. If my memory serves right, that's where the lady lived? Chongmon Ryong's gaze turns to an alley. Inside the alley is the white magic Lotus artifact store that I have seen before. There it is. Could it be her? I sigh softly, pondering what to do. But Ryong Hyung, aren't there other clans' descendants in the alley? Indeed. As stated, the alley is packed with cultivators possessing consciousness. Even cultivators appearing to be at the Chi building stage are present. These pathetic ones, chasing after a woman. Now that the Chongmon clan is involved, let's snatch her away as flamboyantly as possible. Let's do that. Then, Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan leap down from the flying magic artifact shaped like a ship, cutting through the sandstorm. The extraordinary pattern law talent is required by our main house. We will take her to the Chongmon clan. What? What is? At the booming shout of Chongmon Dan, the surrounding cultivators flinch and look up at the sky. No one dares to stand against the mid-Chi building aura of Chongmon Dan. Even a cultivator at the early Chi building stage grimaces, but remains still. And when Chongmon Dan unfurls the cloth, I don't know what business my daughter has with you, but that will be a bit inconvenient. Rumble. A surge of white spiritual energy approaches. Chongmon Dan flinches, crossing his arms to block the wave of spiritual energy, which writhes and transforms into a huge tiger, blocking Chongmon Dan and Chongmon Ra. The two retreat to the top of buildings, looking down at the tiger. Kagugugu. This is Chi building late stage? The tiger made of spiritual energy also leaps into the sky. And from the dissipating spiritual energy tiger, a middle-aged man in white emerges. He wears a white robe, a blue ring-turned necklace around his neck, and various glass magic artifacts on his wrists. I am the guest elder of the Gongmyo clan, Buk Jungho. I'm unsure what the Chongmon clan wants with my daughter, but I ask for a formal request rather than such rash actions. A guest elder of the Gongmyo clan. The individual governing this Cheon-sik city. Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan step back, and I remember him. That Chi building cultivator who tried to recruit me to the Gongmyo clan. He was her father. Our clan has come for. Chongmon Ryong slowly explains their purpose to Buk Jungho. After listening for a while, Buk Jungho nods. So, You tried to kidnap my daughter for that reason. I'm a bit angry, but I'll tolerate it for the sake of the Chongmun clan. Indeed, my daughter is in trouble because of the clan descendants. Book Jungho frowns for a moment and then speaks. However, even if I wanted to let my daughter go to the Chongmun clan, she will refuse to go. What do you mean? Chongmun Ryong asks in surprise. Book Jungho rubs his temples, looking vexed. It's due to her mother's last will. She told us to wait for a betrothed who promised to marry my daughter in Cheonseek City and would come with a token. Hence, she won't leave Cheonseek City to honor her mother's last will. Chongmun Ryong frowns and asks, is there no way? It's an important matter instructed by our clan head. If it's for a few days, she might. But she won't leave Cheonseek City for several months for such a matter. If you try to kidnap her against her will, you'll have to fight me. After pondering for a moment, Chongmun Ryong and Chongmun Dan both sigh lightly. We understand. We'll just have to study the magic artifacts in Cheonseek City. What do you think, Daoist Seo? I have no objections. Well, then, let's do that. Chongmun Ryong commands the clan descendants gathered in the alley below. You brats. The extraordinary pattern law talent artisan you're surrounding has an artifact commissioned by the formal order using the name of the Chongmun clan. It is a multi-year project, so anyone disturbing the artisan will be punished in the name of the Chongmun clan. Scram. Upon hearing that, most of the late-stage cultivators furrow their brows. It's then, among the late-stage cultivators, one who looks to be of a similar physical age to me, floats into the air and respectfully greets Chongmun Ryong. It is an honor to meet cultivator Chongmun Ryong, one of the three greats of Qi building. Yes, I am also honored to meet cultivator Byok Munsong, the most talented late-stage heir of the Byok clan. You just barely missed being selected for the official ascension group of the Righteous Path Alliance, didn't you? I'm embarrassed. Byok Munsong, clad in a brown robe, strokes his unique long ponytail as he continues. However, I have something to say to cultivator Chongmun Ryong. Regardless of the Chongmun clan's affair, right now, several late-stage cultivators from various clans and she are in the middle of a bet. Chongmun clan's matter is important, but the bet cannot be delayed. Could you please wait just a little longer? A bet? What kind of bet? Chongmun Ryong furrows his brow and asks, to which Byok Munsong replies with a sly smile. She has made a deal that if any of us late-stage cultivators can properly handle the magic artifact she's making, she'll end her long seclusion in Cheonseek City and go on a trip with the cultivator who handled the magic artifact properly. So you mean to say that right now, when the Chongmun clan's affair is urgent, you plan to take the artifact artisan on a trip? Chongmun Dan glares at Byok Munsong with fiery eyes. Byok Munsong, still at early Qi building, steps back with an awkward smile. That's not what I meant. Anyway, I just want to secure a promise. It's fine to go on the trip after the Chongmun clan's affair is settled. Did cultivator Book not object to his daughter traveling with a young man? At Chongmun Dan's words, Book Jungho calmly speaks. I allowed it. I'm sad that my daughter is too confined to Cheonseek City because of her mother's last words, so I told her to continue with the bet. Of course, I will accompany her. Chongmun Dan and Chongmun Ryong looks at me. Is it okay with you, Daoist Seo? I look at Byok Munsong and ask, how long will this bet take, approximately? Well, that's when it happens. Hot. A bright light bursts from within White Magic Lotus. It seems the magic artifacts have just been completed. If you could wait just half a day, the bet will be over. I nod. All right, that's fine. Chongmun Dan and Chongmun Ryong also nod, and we decide to watch how the bet unfolds for half a day. After a while, I feel spatial fluctuations from the space inside the magic artifact store. It feels similar to space compression. Perhaps the inside is larger than the outside. I recall when I went to kill the previous emperor of Yinghua. Even the emperor who was only at the Qi refining stage had hidden in a pavilion that was larger on the inside. Is that magic artifact store itself a kind of space-like artifact? After a while, the door of the magic artifact store opens, and the late-stage cultivators from various clans and Byok Munsong enter the store. Chongmun Ryong and Chongmun Dan also enter the store after getting permission from Book Jungho. I too enter the store after getting permission. Whoosh! Wawoom! As the spatial feature on the store itself activates, the appearance of the store completely changes from the last time I entered. On a large platform are flags, swords, mirrors, bells, scrolls, wheels, and more. Numerous forms of magic artifacts are displayed, and as expected, she in white stands on the platform, looking down at us. Indeed, the magic artifacts of Miss Book are different just from the aura they emit. Byok Munsong exclaims in admiration as he looks at the artifacts. Indeed, as promised, if someone can properly handle these magic artifacts, Cultivator Book will agree to travel with that cultivator. Don't worry, Cultivator Byok. However, as I mentioned earlier, I will set the standard for properly handling. Understood? I would like to hear the standards. She lifts a bell-shaped magic artifact and infuses it with spiritual power. Hot. A bright blue light emits from the bell, coloring the surroundings and casting a semi-transparent water curtain around her. 10 stripes appear on this water curtain. The magic artifacts I have created will show 1 stripe for each 10th of their power unleashed. Thus, if any of you, with any magic artifact I made, can bring forth more than 60% of its power, I will consider the standards met. Ha ha ha, 60%. Bayok Munsong laughs aloud. How amusing. Even if the magic artifacts made by Cultivator Book are impressive, do you think the distinguished heirs from various clans gathered here cannot draw out even 60% of a magic artifact's power? Not just Bayok Munsong, but snickers can be heard from around the room. This means everyone will likely draw out 60%, so we should determine the winner of the bet by who can enhance the magic artifact's performance the most. A late-stage cultivator from the Gongmyo clan chuckles. However, she looks at him coldly and says, "Well, I was worried that setting the standard at 60% might be too high and would be criticized. I wonder how many among you here can actually bring out even 20% of my magic artifact's power." What? The Gongmyo clan cultivator's face turns beet red upon hearing this. Are you mocking me? No, wasn't it you who started the mockery? Suddenly, her demeanor changes. The soft and gentle look disappears, replaced by a fierce glare that dominates the room. How dare you stand before my magic artifacts and say that anyone can draw out 60% of their power? Do you think my magic artifacts are that easy? If there are those among you who saw the failures displayed in White Magic Lotus and thought my magic artifacts are trivial, please leave now. I do not wish to speak with those who cannot recognize the true value of my magic artifacts. Under her intense presence, the Gongmyo clan heir seems to flinch and then, thumping his chest, steps forward. Fine, then I'll be the first to test the magic artifacts. After all, a magic artifact is just a magic artifact. How impressive can it be? He climbs onto the platform and grabs a flag-shaped magic artifact. Wong. And after a while, Fizz. The magic artifact looks to light up, but then, just as quickly, the light goes out, and it droops lifelessly. What? Full of confidence, yet you can't even activate the magic artifact. No. Ugh. I'm just not used to a flag-shaped magic artifact. The late-stage cultivator from the Gongmyo clan goes around, touching other magic artifacts and infusing them with spiritual power. But, just like the first, none of the magic artifacts light up, they just fizzle out. The only one that even showed a sparkle was the mirror-shaped magic artifact he bragged he was most familiar with, but even that failed to produce a single stripe indicating 10% power. This is a scam. What kind of magic artifacts are these? It's not meant for use. He shouts at her, but she just smiles and replies, "If you lack skill, at least have some manners. Please step down. There is not a single magic artifact here that you can handle." Ugh. Spiritual power of the earth attribute escapes from around the Gongmyo clan heir. I look at Book Jung-ho and ask, "Shouldn't we intervene?" But Book Jung-ho clicks his tongue and crosses his arms. "No need. My daughter's magic artifacts are all difficult to draw power from, but..." Kwon. The Gongmyo clan cultivator, unable to hold back, casts a spell. Kururu. However, his spell is blocked by the water curtain produced by her magic artifact, disappearing without a trace. 10 stripes are floating on the water curtain. If you can properly draw them out, it boasts considerable performance. In fact, even I, her father, can only draw up to 80% of the power from my daughter's magic artifacts. Pride fills Book Jung-ho's face. A person without manners, skill, or character is trash. Please leave. Wong. At her gesture, several magic artifacts floats in the air, displaying 10 stripes, and point at the Gongmyo clan cultivator. The Gongmyo clan cultivator's face reddens and then turns pale, but he soon descends from the stage amidst the jeers of other clan descendants. Kuk. Knew that guy would be like this. What was he thinking, trying to handle a magic artifact? Even in the Gongmyo clan, known for their magic artifacts, he's famous for not being able to handle them. After rearranging the magic artifacts, she looks around the audience and asks, "Is there anyone else?" And then, without exception, everyone starts to challenge her magic artifacts. An outstanding magic artifact artisan indeed. Chongmun Ryong strokes his goatee and comments, "Absolutely trustworthy. Isn't she somewhat of a magic artifact genius? It seems no one can properly draw out the power of the magic artifacts." Indeed, many late-stage cultivators tried, but the one who managed to draw out the most power from a magic artifact could only reach 20%. However, Chongmun Ryong is unimpressed. Outstanding, yes, but such magic artifacts can be crafted by any high-level refiner. Compared to Gongmyo Cheon-sik, who was absolutely wild, it's clear she's still far behind. Gongmyo Cheon-sik used to brag to me about the magic artifacts he created, and compared to him, This law pattern artisan still has a long way to go. Chongmon Ryong critically assesses her. It seems she deliberately made the circuits of the magic artifacts complex and difficult, whereas Gongmyo Cheonsik's are simple yet elegant. Chongmon Ryong looks to have some expertise in magic artifacts, evaluating them from a distance. Complex spiritual energy circuits allow one to create powerful magic artifacts from ordinary materials, but whether those are truly good magic artifacts is another question. Book Jungho nods somberly at Chongmon Ryong's words. You are right. My daughter still falls short compared to elder Gongmyo Cheonsik. But there is a reason she makes the circuits complex. Please understand that. All right. As long as she handles the clan matters properly. Chongmon Ryong nods. Soon, a gloomy air falls over the faces of the many cultivators gathered in the magic artifact store. Among them, even the few outstanding ones couldn't draw out more than 20% of a magic artifact's power, let alone 60%. As things turn out this way, some give up even before trying. This is a scam. What nonsense is this? The crowd's mood grows hostile, but they are subdued by the presence of Book Jungho, Chongmon Ryong, Chongmon Dan, and myself watching from the back. Then, breaking through the crowd, one person steps forward. Cultivator Bayok has stepped up. That's right. If it's a chi-building cultivator, maybe. It's Bayok Munsong, who had gathered the cultivators. Truly living up to her reputation. I have seen the magic artifacts of Miss Book. But, honestly, only drawing out 60% of a magic artifact's power seems too easy, doesn't it? He chuckles and climbs onto the stage, examining the magic artifacts. If you're at chi-building, understanding how to handle magic artifacts comes naturally. Even if you had set the condition at 90%, it would have been insufficient. Then, Bayok Munsong lifts a flying sword magic artifact. Let me show you the skill of a chi-building cultivator. Wong. His pure spiritual force surges into the flying sword. The sword begins to shine, revealing stripes. 1 stripe, 2, and then 3. Wow, 3 stripes. Is this what a chi-building cultivator can do? No one else could draw out even 30% of the power. But the stripes don't stop there. 4 stripes. Already 40%. However, the smile gradually fades from Bayok Munsong's face. How far will this go? Hot. As Bayok Munsong pours in more pure spiritual force, a 5th stripe appears on the magic artifact. 50%. Look, Cultivator Bayok might just meet the standard. But not only me, Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan, even Book Jungho sneer or click their tongues. It's evident that Bayok Munsong is struggling. TCH, pouring in power without understanding. I could draw out 70% myself. Chongmon Ryong clicks his tongue and mutters, attracting the scornful glances of many. However, most recognize Chongmon Ryong as one of the top 3 in chi-building, and many turn their heads back with murmurs. And then, blink, blink. As Bayok Munsong's face reddens, the 6th stripe faintly flickers and appears on the flying sword. Then, fish. The light on the flying sword goes out. It's done. Look, Miss Book. I have drawn out 60% of the flying sword's power. However, her face remains cold. 60%? Are you sure what you've shown is really 60%? The stripes were visible, weren't they? She seems to ponder for a moment, and the crowd becomes on edge, awaiting her decision. Frustrated, I blurt out without thinking. The sword? Why handle it like that? Swoosh. I flinch. I look around as numerous eyes are now focused on me. Unlike the looks directed at Chongmon Ryong, these stares linger. Bayok Munsong, having heard my comment, looks at me. No one dares to speak recklessly to me, a chi-building cultivator, but their faces are filled with dissatisfaction. Then Bayok Munsong, wiping sweat from his forehead, speaks. It seems you're around my age, fellow cultivator. How can you be so presumptuous? I apologize if it sounded unpleasant. I just spoke without thinking, as I usually handle the sword. Oh, you're a sword cultivator? But I, Bayok Munsong, pride myself on being a sword cultivator too. How can a stranger criticize my way? Sword cultivator? It seems he's referring to a cultivator who practices sword methods like flying sword skills. So, Cultivator Bayok, you mean to say you've primarily trained in flying sword techniques? Yes, I'm known as the sword genius of the Bayok clan, having entered the chi-building stage. Seeing you're likely in early chi-building, I suppose I have a higher understanding of swords than you, don't I? You shouldn't speak so thoughtlessly. I flinch. I was going to let it go. However, debating sword understanding in front of me. In front of me? I approach the stage with a stern expression. What? I pick a sword-shaped magic artifact from among those on the stage and infuse it with pure spiritual force. Watch. The sword, Wong, is used like this. As I infuse the sword with power, it emits light. Stripes appear one by one. The stripes reach 3, 4, and 5. Ha ha ha. If that's all. And then the 6th stripe appears. Bayok Munsong and the late-stage cultivators from various clans widen their eyes. A clear 6 stripe, but I continue to infuse the sword with power. My pure spiritual force is considerably stronger than Bayok Munsong's, and my understanding of the sword alone is enough to draw out the sword magic artifact's power. Come on. The 7th stripe appears. Bayok Munsong stares at the sword I am holding as if his eyes will pop out, and she too looks at me with considerable interest. The 8th stripe. Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan are also surprised, and Bayok Munsong forces out a deflated laugh. The 9th stripe. Book Jungho, watching from behind, is also startled and focuses more intently on my sword. And then, the sword magic artifact surges with energy, forming the final, 10th stripe. I have perfectly drawn out 100% of the magic artifact's power. Bayok Munsong steps back a few paces with a defeated expression, his face filled with defeat and a mix of anger and humiliation. Clap, 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 clap. She smiles brightly and claps her hands. Amazing. Until now, no one but the creator myself has been able to fully draw out the power of these magic artifacts. Wong. I don't pay attention to her words and infuse even more spiritual power into the sword. Dare to talk about sword understanding in front of me. I'll show them what it means to be a sword cultivator. Forget everything except the sword in front of you. The sword vibrates wildly, and above the 10 stripes, an 11th stripe appears. Wow. Even she, who has been calm until now, changes her expression. How? But I focus on the sword, not paying attention to her. Hundreds of spiritual energy circuits are visible within the sword. I don't concern myself with the unknown circuits. The important thing is the essence of the sword. A weapon for cutting, stabbing, and swinging. How to maximize the power of that tool to its limit. That is, to swing the tool until it becomes one with my arm. Severing mountain swordsmanship. First move, transcending peaks. Puck. When I take the stance and swing the sword magic artifact, a total of 12 stripes appear on it. She completely loses her composure and stares intently at the sword in front of me. How is this possible? I never set it to produce such output. 120%? What have you done? I think 13, even 14 might be possible. Womb. I withdraw my pure spiritual force and continue. But the sword might break. It appears that 120% is the maximum limit for this magic artifact before it breaks. It's a good artifact. I hand the sword back and step away. Bayok Munsong beside me avoids my gaze with a look of defeat and anger. Far away, Chongmon Ryong and Chongmon Dan look astonished by my skills, while Book Jungho looks at me with an expression of disbelief. It seems the winner is decided. What is your name, sir? She momentarily looks at the sword I have handed her and then speaks to me. My name is Seo Eunhyun. Just call me Cultivator Seo. But initially, I was not a participant in this bet. Not a participant. From the moment you entered the magic artifact shop, you were a participant. Among the others here, is there anyone who can draw out the power of magic artifacts like Cultivator Seo? No one responds. It seems there isn't. Then, as Cultivator Bayok previously spoken, I shall give the right to Cultivator Seo. Do as you please. Bayok Munsong spits out his words and then leaves the magic artifact shop. Many late-stage cultivators also follow him, and among them, the descendants of the Chongmon clan are caught by Chongmon Dan and begin receiving discipline in a corner of the magic artifact shop. Anyway, you have proven that you can handle my magic artifacts properly, so I will give all these magic artifacts to you. She points to the artifacts on the stage, and I look at them for a moment before saying, I'm sorry, but I don't need them. Excuse me. I don't use magic artifacts. With an overwhelmingly superior alternative like the formless sword, why would I use something like a magic artifact? By the way, do you remember me, Cultivator Book? You once gave me water and clothes. Are you ignoring my magic artifacts now? But my words change her mood. She's feeling humiliated. No, that's not it. Didn't you say you were a sword cultivator? Not using my magic artifacts means you find them unsatisfactory, right? What's this? Does having a similar talent to Mad Lord also mean she's mad as well? I feel perplexed and try to explain, but she speaks with an angry expression. Wait a moment. If you're not satisfied with these flying swords, I'll give you something better. I'll show you my successful creations. No, that's not necessary. Whoosh. She runs into the back of the magic artifact shop, and Book Jungho approaches, clicking his tongue. My daughter is usually kind and gentle, but her personality changes a bit when it comes to magic artifacts. She has great pride in the magic artifacts she's created herself, so please understand. Isn't this reaction a bit too much? Well, that's because you're the only one who has drawn out 120% of the power of her magic artifacts. Since you're the first person she's seen do this, it seems her pride won't allow her to accept you not using her magic artifacts. Soon, she comes back from inside the shop, carrying an armful of sword magic artifacts, and lays them out in front of me. Each one emits a respectable spiritual aura and are so splendid they take one's breath away. These are the sword magic artifacts I'm most proud of. Please try holding one and then decide. Her face is brimming with confidence. Unable to bear her expression, I pick up one of the swords. Whoom. As I infuse power into the sword, a rainbow of spiritual energy covers the inside of the magic artifact shop. Although stripes do not appear like before, I feel that I am drawing out more power than the magic artifact has. She too must feel it, as she looks at the sword I am holding with a mesmerized gaze. I apologize, but I really don't need magic artifacts. Excuse me. I flinch. I sense a chill flash in her eyes. Her confident smile cracks, and veins throb on her forehead. Ha ha. How do you feel crushing the pride of an artifact artisan, Taoist CEO? Chongmon Ryong flies onto the stage and speaks. When two chi-building cultivators stand before her, she conceals her chilling demeanor and changes her expression. Taoist CEO and I would like to entrust the owner of White Magic Lotus and the person endowed with the extraordinary pattern law talent with a task. What kind of task might that be? Taoist CEO and I intend to develop a certain formation, and for that, we need to create formation magic artifacts. Can you help us? She nods in agreement. Of course. However, isn't formation development a field that takes quite some time? That's right. Hence, Taoist CEO and I will stay in Cheonseek City to work on this project with you. It might take several years. After nodding, she looks at me. So, while developing the formation artifacts, they'll also develop something that will satisfy Taoist CEO. No, really, I don't need any. Chongmon Ryong pokes me in the waist to stop me. His telepathy reached my ears. How much do you plan to crush the artisan's pride, Taoist CEO? Having a magic artifact wouldn't be bad, just accept it. Alright then, I appreciate your effort, but I'm not in a position to afford such artifacts. Since you didn't like the artifacts you won for the bet, I'm making you a replacement. My pride is at stake, and since Cultivator CEO has shown new potential for my artifacts, I will make it for free. Speechless, I just stare at a spot in the magic artifact shop. Anyway, I look forward to working with you. My name is Book Hyangwa. My name is CEO Unhyan. I appreciate your cooperation. Stay strong, Cultivator Biok. Our clan elders say that Cultivator Book's talent corresponds to the 4 pattern among the extraordinary pattern law talent. True demonic talent begins to manifest from 1 pattern. For pattern is just considered a level of an outstanding prodigy, so there's no need to be too disheartened, right? Biok Munsong is receiving consolation from the other cultivators. Haha. Thank you for your consolation, friends. Well, it's unfortunate this time, but if there's another fun event, please call me, Cultivator Biok. I'll see you later. As Biok Munsong's mood seems to brighten a bit, the cultivators each ride their flying artifacts and return to their clans. Later, Biok Munsong's face suddenly contorts in anger. Fools. She's not just a simple 4 pattern. Why did I drag those guys around, bothering and annoying her? Quong. He stomps in anger and gnaws his teeth. I can't let some unknown guy take her. If I can make her, who possesses demonic talent like that monster, mine, becoming a clan head isn't just a dream. He bites his lips and walks into an alley. Let's wait for her to go on a journey. I still have a chance. Serving Command Palace? In the inner meeting room of the magic artifact shop, Book Hyangwa, who received the formation diagram, is startled. The creation of the legendary artisan. Yes, we need to create a formation that will stimulate growth for a spiritual tree inside, and you must create the formation artifacts for that. Chongmon Ryong, Book Hyangwa, and I sit at a table, discussing the formation. After a while, she asks seriously, can we enter Serving Command Palace? If I could see the dragon veins and qualities with my own eyes, it would be easier to create suitable magic artifacts. Additionally, Serving Command Palace is known as a treasure. If we can borrow its power for the formation artifacts, we can create even more effective ones. However, Chongmon Ryong shakes his head. Serving Command Palace only appears once every 400 years. It will be several hundred years before it appears again. But I know a secret way to enter. Exclamation point. At my words, Chongmon Ryong looks surprised, and Book Hyangwa's face brightens. What kind of method is it? I just need to ask a friend of mine. I take out a communication device connected to CO Ran. The day turns to evening. I reached out to CO Ran, and along with Chongmon Ryong, we continued to discuss and sketch out the formation diagrams. Book Hyangwa announced she would create the basic magic artifacts for the formation and entered her workshop. Sigh. After finishing the discussion with Chongmon Ryong, I briefly step out of the meeting room. He always has an overwhelming number of questions. Chongmon Ryong is known for his inquisitiveness, constantly asking, why do you think that way? This habit persisted even during our discussions on formations. His sharp questions can be piercing at times, but they also bring a sense of nostalgia, as if revisiting the past. The past, once gone, never returns. This fact remains true, even for someone who has experienced regression. Lost in such gloomy thoughts, I hear a noise. Clang, clang. From Book Hyanghua's workshop inside the magic artifact shop, the sound of a hammer striking echoes. Book Hyanghuo is quite remarkable. To create magic artifacts, she hammers away beside the intense heat of the flames, her being a woman notwithstanding. I casually approach her workshop and stealthily observe her working. Creak, creak. She's carefully engraving something on a formation flag artifact, and then she proceeds to hammer and shape something new. Suddenly, I notice something blossoming on her face. FZZZT. It's a four-colored pattern. This pattern, resembling tree branches, bore colors of gold, purple, light pink, and black. The black and purple patterns, interwoven, create a semi-blended appearance. That must be four pattern. Amidst the sparks, her figure, forging magic artifacts while adorned with four colors, continually captivates my attention. In the midst of this, suddenly, our eyes meet. Ah, Cultivator CEO, have you come? I have something to ask of you. What would that be? Here. Whoosh. She goes deeper into her workshop and returns with a large box, placing it before me. Creak. Upon opening the box, it contains numerous unfinished sword magic artifacts. These are artifacts I made, inspired by seeing you with the previous swords. All these, crafted in just half a day. Book Hyanghuo, with a confident expression, adds, these are specially made for you, Cultivator CEO. They're not finished yet, but I bet they won't easily unleash their full power this time. Why not try infusing them with your spiritual power? With a slight smile, I pick up one of the swords. Once again, I channel pure spiritual force into the sword. As expected, the sword glows, emitting more than 120% of its intended output. I wonder if she will be disappointed. I feel sorry for defying her expectations. As I'm about to speak to her, Book Hyanghuo, in a daze, watches the sword as it releases strength beyond its limits. Her mouth continuously moves, muttering something about artifacts, and her eyes are fixated on the sword. She must have gained some inspiration. Just then, whoom, the four-colored pattern reappears on her skin. Four pattern may only be considered equivalent to the level of a prodigy, but it seems to be a talent far surpassing ordinary magic artifact artisans. Suddenly, I shudder, observing her in her trance-like state. The intertwined purple and black patterns look to be merging together. Translator notes, these chapters can be so long. There were literally 3 times I thought it was over, but no, there's more. Extra donated chapters coming soon. Chapter 99, Lotus, 7. /Translating Novice. Chiyuri. Hat. However, at some point, she regains her senses, and the 2 patterns that were merging return back under her skin. What was that? Miss, are you alright? Oh, I'm fine. Just needed a moment to think. She smiles briefly, then takes the magic artifact from me again. If you don't like this one either, let's use this failure as a learning experience and try again next time. She takes the magic artifacts and goes back into her workshop. She doesn't know how to give up. I let out a light sigh. I've said several times that I don't need a magic artifact. Is she stubborn, or just not understanding? I find a subtle sense of kinship in her persistence and unwittingly smile lightly. I get a message from CO Rand 3 days later. I can let you use the Nether Crossing ship, but in exchange, give me spirit stones. I immediately tell the news to the Chongmon Ryong. The Nether Crossing ship? Chongmon Ryong, shocked, quickly communicates back to the Chongmon clan head through sound transmission. And a few days later, Kun, at Cheonseek City, the Chongmon clan head, Chongmon Yungjin, personally arrives with 80,000 spirit stones. Is it true that just by offering spirit stones, one can have a chance to ride the famous Nether Crossing ship? He asks, placing the storage artifact filled with spirit stones on the ground, addressing me and Chongmon Rao. I nod. Yes, a senior I know has agreed to allow a one-time ride on the Nether Crossing ship. However, it's important to know that this Nether Crossing ship is a wreck from a battle with the Mad Lord. I'm aware. The tale of the Mad Lord facing the Black Ghost Valley alone is known to everyone in the cultivation world. Nevertheless, I'm eager to ride the Nether Crossing ship. Even if it's ruined, the honor of riding the ship from the Black Ghost Valley that swept the seas is immense. Chongmon Yungjin speaks with a hint of excitement uncharacteristic of his usual solemn demeanor. The prospect of riding the Nether Crossing ship excites not only Chongmon Yungjin, but also Chongmon Ryong and Book Hyanghuo, that legendary artisan's replica ship, to be able to see the Nether Crossing ship. I look at them slightly awkwardly, thinking to myself, I have entered the Nether Crossing ship several times with CO Ran. In my past life, I had even personally sailed it a few times, so it doesn't feel like a big deal to me. But it seems the Nether Crossing ship's value is much greater than I thought. Several days pass. I fly to the Black Wind Sea with Book Hyanghuo, Chongmon Ryong, and Chongmon Yungjin. Book Jungho wanted to join with his daughter, but as he's responsible for overseeing Cheonseek City, he couldn't leave easily, and just entrusted us with her safety. Just head in that direction. Understood. We boarded Changmun Yungjin's flying magic artifact shaped like a ship, and I guided them towards the Nether Crossing ship. Didn't Miss Book say she wouldn't leave Cheonseek City? I asked, looking at Book Hyinghua. Technically, I don't take on important duties that require me to be away for months. It only takes a few days to visit Serving Command Palace, so I joined this journey. I see. Your father mentioned that you don't like to be away from Cheonseek City for long periods due to your mother's last wish. Yes, that's right. She plays with the jade-colored Naragi tied around her waist. My mother was also an artifact artisan. Before I was born, she made a pact with her friend to make their sons sworn brothers if both had sons, make their daughters sworn sisters if both had daughters, and arrange a marriage if they had a son and a daughter. She looks at the Naragi while facing the sea breeze. This is a magic artifact made by my mother. It was made in pairs, and she said the other one would be with my destined partner. According to my mother's last wish, I've been waiting at Cheonseek City, which is why I don't like to leave the city. I see. I smile at her. I hope that someday, your destined partner appears before you. Thank you. Book Hyinghua smiles, holding the accessory. Kurung kururung. Soon, Changmun Yungjin's flying artifact enters the sea area where the Nether Crossing ship resides. There should be a barrier ahead. Just break through it. Understood. Changmun Yungjin looks around, then precisely steers the flying artifact towards the location of the barrier and flies into it. Cool. The flying artifact hits the air as if it's striking something, and we enter inside the barrier. It's a big ghost. The big ghost has appeared. Once again, the ghosts within the barrier call me a big ghost and seem to jump around, but they don't dare to approach due to Changmun Yungjin's presence. After piercing through several layers, we finally break through the last barrier and arrive at the location of the Nether Crossing ship. Chalk. Wow, is that the Nether Crossing ship? Oh, that is the one from Black Ghost Valley. The replica of the masterpiece created by the legendary craftsman. Above the Nether Crossing ship, there stands a figure. Song Jin. It's Song Jin, exuding the aura of core formation, welcoming us. Changmun Yungjin's expression turns serious upon sensing Song Jin's aura, which is even stronger than his, in the late stage of core formation. Hello, Elder Song Jin. Where's Taoist Xiao Ran? He is gathering Yin energy and ghostly energy from the deep sea as I instructed. He should be absorbing Yin energy in the depths, practicing his cultivation method by now. I see. After answering me, Song Jin turns his attention to the spirit stone box held by Changmun Yungjin. It takes 10,000 spirit stones to launch the Nether Crossing ship once. Another 10,000 for a single spatial travel. That's 20,000 in total. Another 20,000 for the return journey, plus the privilege cost of stepping onto the Nether Crossing ship of the Black Ghost Valley. Another 20,000 spirit stones. A total of 60,000 spirit stones. It's an enormous cost. What is this? I understand. I was about to object, but Changmun Yungjin nods and hands over the 60,000 spirit stones to Song Jin. This junior presents these spirit stones to the elder of the Great Black Ghost Valley. Good, a well-mannered one. Unlike that bandit who demanded the Nether Crossing ship out of nowhere, you have a different level of integrity. Changmun Yungjin looks puzzled, and I avoid Song Jin's gaze. Are you from the Changmun clan? If you are descendants of Changho, it makes sense. Well, I also owe Changho, so I'll reduce the cost by 2,000 spirit stones. Song Jin, noticing the Changmun clan emblem on Changmun Yungjin's clothes, returns 2,000 of the 60,000 spirit stones. Thank you, Elder. All right, where did you want to go? We wish to enter Serving Command Palace. Serving Command Palace? It's not the time for Serving Command Palace to open. Unless you're in the later stages of nascent soul, you can't break the prohibition of Serving Command Palace. Don't worry about that. I have the means. I take out a barrier-breaking scroll, and Song Jin nods. If you say so, let's go then. Song Jin takes the spirit stones and climbs near the steering wheel of the Nether Crossing ship. Kugugugugu. As Song Jin grabs the steering wheel, the spirit energy stored in the thousands of spirit stones begins to flow out. Paot. The spirit energy is sucked into the Nether Crossing ship, turning into ghostly energy and filling the ship's reserves. The Nether Crossing ship rattles and begins to gather Yin wind around it. Enveloped in the Yin wind, the giant ruined ship slowly rises into the air. Changmun Yungjin and Changmun Ryong watches the ship rise from the bow with amazement, while Book Hyinghua looks at every corner of the Nether Crossing ship with curiosity. We're going. Paot. The Nether Crossing ship is engulfed in the wind and enters the space between, moving into the void. Swoosh. After a while in the void, we re-emerge into reality, transported above the western mountain ranges of Shengzi. Spatial transmission through space. Let's see, the coordinates for Serving Command Palace are around here. Song Jin holds the helm of the Nether Crossing ship, looks around, and once again enters between the void. Pat. We re-enter the outskirts of space. There, floating in the void, we can see a massive cylindrical palace. We have arrived at Serving Command Palace. So soon. Is this the power of the Nether Crossing ship? Chongmun Yungjin and Chongmun Ryong look amazed by the speed of the Nether Crossing ship. I want to see more. Bu Qianghua looks disappointed that she couldn't explore more of the Nether Crossing ship. Let's enter the Serving Command Palace now. Sigh? It's a shame, but what can we do? Her face, initially filled with disappointment, lights up with excitement again upon seeing Serving Command Palace. Then, I will anchor the Nether Crossing ship next to Serving Command Palace for 4 days. If you don't return within that time, I'll leave without you, so manage your time well. Understood. Chongmun Yungjin nods solemnly, and I take out the scroll. Pot. The golden prohibition of Serving Command Palace's outer wall shatters. Chongmun Yungjin immediately raises his fist and strikes the outer wall of Serving Command Palace. Cool. Green light flashes, and the outer wall of Serving Command Palace breaks open. We enter Serving Command Palace through the newly created passage. Wow. As soon as we enter Serving Command Palace, Bu Qianghua exclaims in awe. What is it? The inside of Serving Command Palace's outer wall is just a corridor. Though it is impressively large due to spatial compression, it looks just like a plain corridor. Yet, something different seems to catch her eye. It's beautiful. She touches the decorations of Serving Command Palace, the golden patterns flowing there, and the finely detailed spiritual energy circuits, with a mesmerized look in her eyes. This is the one made by the legendary artisan. She caresses the walls of Serving Command Palace. After watching her for a moment, Chongmun Ryong, Chongmun Yungjin, and I discuss. Can you lead us to where the longevity fruit is said to be? Yes, I will do so. I lead the group to the botanical garden on the first floor of Serving Command Palace. Why? In the green-lit interior of the arboretum, at its center, stands a young longevity tree, with a nearly ripe longevity fruit hanging on it. Oh, so this is the longevity fruit. Don't pick it, clan head. A fruit in this state won't extend life for even a year, let alone 100. I know, Chongmun Ra. I was just tempted. Chongmun Yungjin, who was mesmerized by the longevity fruit, then notices several flowers on the tree and asks, if the formation you mentioned is completed, not only this longevity fruit, but also the other flowers could bloom and bear longevity fruits, correct? If the formation is perfectly completed, it might be possible. Good. Then, during these 4 days, Chongmun Ryong and Cultivator CO will investigate Serving Command Palace's environment and draft a formation layout, while the artifact artisan will plan the formation artifacts. I'll explore the upper floors of Serving Command Palace since I'm here. Saying this, he flies towards the door leading to the second floor of Serving Command Palace. I'll center my research around the longevity fruit and longevity tree, studying the nearby dragon veins and drafting a formation layout. Daoist CO, please survey the outside of the arboretum and plan the external part of the formation. Understood. Then, I will also roam around and study Serving Command Palace. Chongmun Ryong starts measuring around the longevity tree and drafting the formation layout, while I roam the outskirts of the first floor of Serving Command Palace, planning an external formation to complement Chongmun Ryong's inner one. Bu Qianghua follows me around, observing different parts of Serving Command Palace. This is truly magnificent. Thank you for allowing me such a wonderful experience. She takes out a small tool from her artifact box and starts to analyze the walls of Serving Command Palace and their inner spiritual energy circuits. Jalgrak. The wall is quickly dismantled, revealing the spiritual energy circuits within. Bu Qianghua pulls out various unknown devices and begins disassembling and studying the circuits. It's nothing. It's all thanks to yourself. And didn't you give water to me and my companion before? At my words, she pauses and looks at me. Oh, I'm sorry. I've offered water to so many desert travelers. I couldn't quite remember who you were. Haha, that's all right. We were really saved by your kindness. You've always been kind-hearted. I continue planning the formation while observing the dragon veins of Serving Command Palace's outskirts, and Bu Qianghua continues recording in her notebook as she examines different parts of Serving Command Palace. The walls she dismantles will self-repair after a while, so there's no need to fix them. Bu Qianghua also meticulously records the self-repairing process in her notebook. It's when we enter a different area. Jolt. Bu Qianghua suddenly twitches. In her line of sight are the remnants of Mad Lord's puppets. Could these be? She approaches the remains, trembling. They are all ruined scraps, but they don't appear as such in her eyes. The Mad Lord's puppets. She hurriedly ran to the debris with her eyes rolling, fiddling with, and tearing apart the remains, then began to recklessly stuff them into her magic artifact bag. What a tremendous reaction. After all, to artifact artisans, the Mad Lord essentially stands at the pinnacle of their profession. Besides, a one-pattern extraordinary pattern law talent. Someone even more talented than Bu Qianghua. It isn't strange that she's drooling over this. Are the Mad Lord's puppets proving to be of great help to you? Are you kidding? Of course. Even his scraps are precious artifacts worth studying. Bu Qianghua has earlier been using her equipment to tear apart and dissect the Mad Lord's puppets. But suddenly, she sighs. It's a pity many parts are too damaged. It's helpful to be taking as many remnants as possible, but if there was even a slightly intact puppet remaining. Are you talking about intact remains? I suddenly recall a puppet from the Mad Lord that I had found when wandering the Serving Command Palace. Right, there was one fairly intact puppet. Come with me, miss. I know where to find an intact puppet. Really? Her face lights up with excitement. I take her to the place I have visited before. And there, just like before, is the puppet. A bee puppet the size of a human torso. It's relatively intact. Bu Qianghua's hands tremble slightly. I can guess her feelings. She doesn't take apart the bee puppet right away, but first holds and looks it over. Inside, it seems only the circuits are slightly damaged. The exterior is intact, and aside from some minor damage, the internal parts are mostly intact. Joy lights up Bu Qianghua's face. With a little bit of repair, it might be usable again. Oh, Bu Qianghua, visibly thrilled, carefully places the puppet in her storage bag. Really, this place is a treasure trove. A treasure trove, indeed. When I first came here, there seemed to be nothing of use. The only object of hope was the one longevity fruit growing on the first floor. However, it seems that for someone like her, even this place can turn into a treasure trove. Definitely, for someone like Miss, this place is beneficial. Honestly, I just thought of these puppet remains as mere debris. It's not unreasonable to think that way. She continues collecting the surrounding remnants as she speaks. To those who don't need them, they're just trash. But I think differently. Bu Qianghua picks up a small plate-like object from the floor, covered in numerous spiritual circuits. Even ordinary debris, or trash, becomes a treasure in the hands of someone with a connection, don't you think? In the hands of someone with a connection. I believe whether something is trash or not depends on fate and connection. That's why I think there's no real trash in this world. There are just things that haven't met their destined purpose or connection, and those that have. I'm quietly impressed by her perspective on fate. A view of fate different from mine. I just thought of it as something to escape from. But this is another perspective. Not just something to escape from, but something that gives value in itself. Fate, I'm lost in thought about fate when, why hasn't this part self-repaired yet? She has put the puppet remains in her storage bag and is now looking at the outer wall behind it. There's a small injury on the wall, exposing numerous spiritual circuits, which have not self-repaired yet. Serving Command Palace should have an auto-repair function. Why hasn't this part? Bu Qianghua starts to dismantle that area with her tools. That's when it happens. Creak. A small compartment behind her opens. Simultaneously, a small hidden weapon springs out. A trap mechanism. Clang. I quickly dash over and deflect the hidden weapon. Are you alright, miss? I'm fine, but her face has turned pale. Oops. When I rushed over to deflect the hidden weapon from behind her, the shockwave caused her to lean forward slightly, causing her tool to deeply embed itself in one of Serving Command Palace's spiritual circuits. I think I might have triggered something wrong. Is it serious? It's not so much serious as one of Serving Command Palace's hidden functions. Rumble seems to have activated. Suddenly, a strange pressure envelopes the entirety of Serving Command Palace. This pressure circulates around, compressing the pure spiritual force in every part of my body. My spiritual power is restricted, and my cultivation drops from the early stage of Qi building to the early stage of Qi refining in an instant. Looking at Bu Qianghua, her internal spiritual power seems to have mostly dried up, reducing her almost to the state of a mortal. Has everyone's cultivation been reduced by one realm? Judging by the range, it seems that the entire Serving Command Palace has fallen into this state temporarily. As the clan head of the Chongmun clan, Chongmun Yungjin, being in the core formation realm, would have been restricted to Qi building, and Chongmun Ryong would have faced similar restrictions as me. It seems I've accidentally triggered some sort of restraint within Serving Command Palace. I apologize, Mississippi. It's my fault for pushing you into it. No, it's my fault for recklessly meddling with Serving Command Palace's walls. I'll try to restore it to its original state. She hurriedly reinserts her elongated tool into the wall, trying to rectify the circuits. That's when I notice something. That is, inside Serving Command Palace. Amidst the debris of the Mad Lord's puppets and other remnants of heavenly being cultivators, the guardian stone statues of Serving Command Palace begin to stir. Creak, creak. The statues are gradually repairing themselves and starting to rise into the air. Is this the effect of the restraint? It looks so. Since this pressure began, Spiritual energy has started to flow back into these guardian statues. Miss, is it possible to completely undo the restraint? Yes, it's possible. I just need to reset the circuits, but it'll take some time. Understood. I sensed the energy of the rising guardian stone statues. They seem to be in the early stages of chi refining, probably because they're still recovering. But the longer this goes on, the more they'll regain their original strength by repairing their damaged body. I inspect my own condition. 1. My spiritual power is restricted and barely movable, but my internal energy is still flowing well. When I try forming a gang sphere, it forms without any issue. My martial skills are unaffected by the restriction on my spiritual power. Translator notes. Extra donated chapter by ASDF, Dangiskin, YMMM, and ITKMate. Thanks for the support. One more to come. Chapter 100 Lotus 8. Translating novice. I attempt to sweep away the statues with my formless sword, but I'm suddenly concerned about Buk Hyangwa repairing the circuit behind me. I could sweep them away, but if she carelessly informs Chongmun Ryong or Chongmun Yungjin. I can already hear the word Taoist from Chongmun Yungjin, and I can imagine Chongmun Ryong saying, Senior. That can't happen. I stop myself from drawing out the formless sword and just overlay Gang Chi in the air instead. Wong. For Chi refining level puppets, 5 energies converging to the origin should be enough. Quang. I swing wildly at the statues in front of me while overlaying Gang Chi in the air. The statues seem to resist, but because they have not fully recovered, they're swept away by the Gang Chi. Wong. However, after destroying the statues, they automatically start repairing themselves, wrapped in a pale light. I hope Chongmun Yungjin and Chongmun Ryong are alright. Despite the restraint that reduces one's realm by 1, Chongmun Yungjin would still be at Chi building, so there's no need to worry. But Chongmun Ryong will have fallen to Chi refining. Miss Buk, how much longer until the restraint is lifted? Almost done. Just, pot. If I just repair this. As she manipulates the circuit with a tool resembling a pick, the circuit glows, and the oppressive pressure dissipates. Simultaneously, the guardian statues of Serving Command Palace, which were repairing themselves, collapse into ruins again. Phew, finally done. You've worked hard. Mississippi, you're truly remarkable. Not at all. The Golden Order was just temporarily triggered and would have dissipated over time. I just hastened the process. Buk Hyangwa began to tidy up her tools, wiping the sweat off her forehead. Then Miss Buk, please wait here for a moment. I'll check if Chongmun Ryong is safe. Okay, please do so. She agrees readily, and I fly to the first-floor arboretum where Chongmun Ryong is likely to be. In the center of the arboretum, Chongmun Ryong is gathering what attributes spiritual energy, standing in the midst of a large formation. Around the outskirts of the formation lay the ruins of what appeared to be guardian statues. Cultivator Chongmun, are you alright? I am fine. The spiritual energy scattered here is of the wood attribute, and I was able to draw it into my formation and use spells since the dragon veins around here have already been investigated. It seems that the restraint was not a significant threat to Chongmun Ryong. What exactly was that just now? I'm relieved you're safe. What just happened was... Kugugugugu. From one side of the arboretum, a cracking sound rings out, and Chongmun Yungjin arrives, using the flying escape technique. What was that just now? Ah, clan head. Chongmun Ryong looks at Chongmun Yungjin. I explain the situation to him. So, that extraordinary pattern law talent caused this phenomenon in Serving Command Palace by tampering with its circuit? Yes, that's correct. After my explanation, Chongmun Yungjin seems to ponder for a moment before speaking. Where is she now? She's currently on the outskirts of Serving Command Palace. Lead me to her. I need to verify something. I guide Chongmun Yungjin back to Buk Hyangwa. Ah, clan head. What brings you here? There's something I need to discuss. I understand you triggered the restraint, causing this phenomenon in Serving Command Palace. Yes, that's correct. He strokes his chin thoughtfully and says, when that phenomenon occurred, I was examining the upper levels of Serving Command Palace and discovered something strange. Something strange? Yes, at the top floor of Serving Command Palace, a peculiar barrier revealed itself. It seems that Serving Command Palace has something that can be revealed by triggering the special restraint. He then asks Buk Hyangwa, can you trigger that phenomenon again? It's possible. Then you'll need to trigger it right when I give the signal. Oh, that should be no problem. She begins to explain. The restraint I triggered seems to be one of the main golden orders forming the axis of Serving Command Palace. Judging by its state, there appears to be at least 3 more corresponding golden orders. These axes exist all around Serving Command Palace, and each floor of the palace is formed along these axes. If I go up to the top floor of Serving Command Palace with the clan head and trigger this order again, that should do it. Understood. And, he looks at me. Come with us. Since the external formation you're responsible for isn't as critical as the one Ryong is handling, protect the artifact artisan. It seems when the order is activated, the guardian statues of Serving Command Palace will start moving again. I understand. Curious about the barrier Changmun Yungjin has discovered, I follow him without complaint. Together with Changmun Yungjin and Bu Qianghua, we go up to the top floor of Serving Command Palace. Bu Qianghua goes to the axis of the top floor of Serving Command Palace and begins to dismantle the wall there. The top floor is a bit narrower than the others, even considering the spatial compression, so I can see Changmun Yungjin from a distance. He looks to be waiting for something in the center of the top floor of Serving Command Palace. I thought there was nothing there, but it seems I didn't know about something. Begin. Changmun Yungjin roars with spiritual power, and upon hearing his command, Bu Qianghua begins her work. Jiang. As she fiddles with something in the circuit, an odd pressure circulates, compressing the spiritual power. Just then, Pat. In the center of the top floor of Serving Command Palace, where Changmun Yungjin is waiting. Above that area, a white light bursts out, revealing a hidden barrier. What is that? I'm slightly surprised and observe the barrier closely. There was no change previously even with my demon senses, but the barrier appeared suddenly. Is it because my perception is weak, or was it that the artisan who built Serving Command Palace was such a great being? It's unclear, but what's certain is that the barrier that appeared this time is an immense one. A dense spatial fluctuation. Inside that barrier, space is compressed again. If we enter, another place will appear. Suddenly, Changmun Yungjin, who has been observing the barrier, suddenly throws a punch towards a weak point in the barrier. Qualong. However, the barrier just vibrates and roars, showing no further reaction. I can see him muttering something from a distance. I couldn't hear him due to the distance, but judging from his lip movements, it looked like he was saying, even the power of Qi building can't break through it. Changmun Yungjin continues to observe the barrier, and I destroy the guardian statues of Serving Command Palace that are rushing towards us. About 1 hour passes, and the order naturally subsides. When the order disappears, the barrier also vanishes, and Changmun Yungjin flies back to us. Thank you for your cooperation. For now, go back down to the lower floors. Spend the remaining time working on your formations and magic artifacts. He looks towards the place where the barrier had appeared and murmurs. I will gather energy here for the next few days. The strength of Qi building can't break through the barrier, but if I gather enough for a few days and release it all at once with a secret technique of the Changmun clan, it might rival a core formation strike for a moment. Understood. We nod and head back to inspecting various parts of Serving Command Palace, drafting diagrams for the formations. At the same time, the three of us gather for meetings about the formation. And so, 3 days pass. For now, I've completed the basic investigation of the surrounding area and the conceptualization of the inner formation. The external formation has also been designed. It will perfectly support Cultivator Changmun's inner formation. I've also conceptualized magic artifacts that can maximize the formation by connecting it with Serving Command Palace. Somehow, we managed to finish all our tasks in a short time. Now we have to go back to Cheonseek City to report on the formation, make adjustments, and realign the connection between the magic artifacts, external formation, and inner formation. And Changmun Ryong looks upwards. Is it true that the clan head is trying to break the barrier on the top floor? Yes. It's dangerous to break a barrier directly connected to the palace's golden order without caution, especially with an ancient relic like Serving Command Palace. He expresses slight concern. If the analysis of the barrier had been entrusted to me, I could have done it quickly. It seems clan head thought the conception of the longevity fruit and longevity tree formation is considered more important. Indeed, the longevity fruit must be important to the clan head. I say, looking upwards with Changmun Ryong. After a while, Changmun Ryong frowns and speaks. This won't do. I need to go up and see for myself. There's not much time left, less than a day, but I still need to analyze the barrier. If the clan head accidentally triggers more of the palace's golden orders. With that, he heads upstairs, and Bu Qianghua and I follow him to the top floor. At the top floor, Changmun Yungjin is there, infusing spiritual power into his right fist, waiting. His right fist shines brightly, vibrating the space around him. Is that the secret technique of the Changmun clan? The power contained within it seems capable of delivering a blow equivalent to that of a nascent soul, even if just for a moment. Clan head, we have established the basic framework of the formations. What remains is to go back and refine the details. I came here upon hearing that you intend to break the barrier connected to the golden orders. He speaks earnestly to Changmun Yungjin. However, tampering with a formation connected to a golden order can be dangerous. I know, Changmun Ra, but it will be disgraceful for a clan head to come all the way to Serving Command Palace and gain nothing. The Heavenly Being seniors have literally scraped everything clean. Only a few talismans, wine, and useless decorative artifacts remain, nothing else. Changmun Ryong sighs lightly and says, Could you give me time to analyze the barrier? If you do, I'll try to analyze it so you can strike where it's least problematic. Alright, let's do that. Artisan, trigger the golden order again and reveal the barrier. Yes. Bu Qianghua, obeying Chongmun Yungjin's command, tears the wall again to trigger the golden order. Occurring. The golden order is triggered again, and the barrier appears. Chongmun Ryong examines the barrier closely, and each time the order's activation time ends, Bu Qianghua repeats the process of triggering the golden order. A day passes like this. Clan head, you should strike this part. Alright, it's about time for the nether crossing ship to depart. Let's quickly check inside the barrier and leave. Kagugugu. The power gathered in Chongmun Yungjin's right fist looks ready to burst at any moment. Alright, trigger the golden order again. Bu Qianghua triggers the golden order once more. After several days of inspecting various parts of Serving Command Palace and triggering the golden order at 4 axial points, Bu Qianghua has become adept at freely turning the golden order on and off. Pat. The golden order is triggered, and the barrier appears. Chongmun Ryong points to a corner of the barrier. This part here. Even though the golden order has lowered its level, the power in Chongmun Yungjin's fist is still immense, comparable to that between nascent soul and core formation. Kugugugugu. As Chongmun Yungjin swings his fist, the barrier shakes and begins to crack. A look of satisfaction appears on Chongmun Yungjin's face, and Chongmun Ryong, Bu Qianghua, and I all look at the barrier with anticipation. Then, Chongmun Ryong's expression changes. Wait, clan head. Stop for a moment. Ging. A red light spreads from the barrier. Soon, the entire Serving Command Palace is enveloped in the red light. Jang. The barrier finally shatters. But the red light from the barrier does not subside. What's happening, Chongmun Ryong? Didn't you say there would be no problems? Chongmun Yungjin looks at Chongmun Ryong in panic, and Chongmun Ryong grimaces and replies. There shouldn't have been a problem under normal circumstances. But it seems someone twisted the barrier from the inside artificially. I didn't anticipate this scenario. I apologize. First, let's secure an escape route. Chongmun Yungjin retreats from the barrier and strikes the outer wall of Serving Command Palace. Quang. The outer wall crumbles, and now only the outer wall's prohibition remains to be breached for escape. But the prohibition on the outer wall, it's changed. I grimace. I grimace at the sight. The outer wall's prohibition is also dyed in a red light, and the barrier-breaking scroll I brought does not respond to the mutated prohibition. Chongmun Yungjin's face contorts in frustration. Damn it, it's almost time for the nether crossing ship to depart. Can't we send a message out? But neither I nor Chongmun Ryong can do anything but shake our heads. Chongmun Yungjin, with a hardened face, turns back to look at the barrier he had shattered. First, we need to see what's inside. Outside Serving Command Palace, in the empty space, Song Jin, who has anchored the nether crossing ship nearby, looks up at Serving Command Palace. The entire city is enveloped in a deep red light. This reaction from the Golden Order. They must have tampered with Serving Command Palace's control room. Haha, the agreed time is almost up, and with their abilities, they won't be able to break out of this Golden Order. Should I wait a bit longer out of mercy, or not? After a moment of contemplation, Song Jin decisively grabs the steering wheel. Those who recklessly meddle with the control room without knowing their place, it's not my concern. I should go see my disciples' training. Besides, if they entered the control room, there should be an escape route, so there's no need to worry about them being trapped. Kagugugu. The nether crossing ship begins to leave the void, enveloped in mist. Suddenly, Song Jin, holding the steering wheel, looks back at Serving Command Palace. But, it's been 800 years since I last entered Serving Command Palace. Are the escape routes still intact? This place is. The inside of the barrier which we entered is a vast library. Or more precisely, it was a library. They've scoured everything thoroughly. Chongmun Yungjin looks around with a hollow voice. The library is completely empty. The bookshelves are devoid of a single book, and dust has accumulated everywhere. This formation seems to be the one that twisted the barrier from the inside. It appears I misanalyzed because of this formation. On the floor, walls, and ceiling of the library, a bizarre formation drawn in blood covered the surroundings. It looks like a demon formation, but I don't know the demon script, so it's hard to identify. Chongmun Ryong examines the formation with a grimace. Chongmun Yungjin also scrutinizes the formation with a serious look. However, I shiver as I read the script and symbols on the formation. Isn't this a symbol of the Sea Dragon tribe? I have a hunch about who is behind this. Is it you again, Xiao Huiyo? What exactly is his goal? While I'm observing the formations, what does this stand for? Chongmun Yungjin points to a small stand in the center of the library. That stand. I look at the stand with intrigue. On top of the stand, there's a small indentation that perfectly matches the size of the Serving Command seal I had seen in my past life. If you insert the Serving Command seal there, does something activate? Let's investigate that area. Led by Changmun Ryong, I and Bu Qianghua start to examine the stand. Changmun Yungjin watches us with a serious expression. Huh. Suddenly, I notice small writing on one of the bookshelves near the stand. Is this ancient script? I had studied ancient languages while reading scrolls in the Royal Library of Xingzi, so I could identify the writing without difficulty. The inscription read something like this. Why even bother preparing the ascension blessing for maggots? So they can feast harder on high-quality corpses? Is maggots the right translation? It was an ancient term meaning something like corpse-eating worms, so I interpreted it as maggots. The corpse-eating worms referred to here. Are the maggots meant to symbolize those who are preparing for ascension? Who left these words, and with what kind of sentiment or intention? I look around the writing for any mechanisms or formations, but find nothing and eventually dismiss it. While investigating the area, I found it. I've got it. Changmun Ryong and Bu Qianghua exclaim almost simultaneously. Changmun Ryong was inspecting the ceiling while Bu Qianghua tore open the floor under the stand, manipulating circuits. Wong. At the same time, two white formations appear on the ceiling and floor. This is a teleportation array. Changmun Yungjin and I mutter as we look at the formation. Ah, there was an escape route. A look of relief appears on Changmun Yungjin's face, but Changmun Ryong is still cautious. We don't know where this teleportation array leads. But, do we have any other choice in the current situation? Changmun Ryong, with a grim expression, eventually speaks. Even if we use this teleportation array, you do know that we need to endure the spatial pressure, correct? We don't have teleportation aid or talismans to withstand it. His words are spot on. Crossing through space means directly enduring the pressure from the outer limits of space. This is why only heavenly being cultivators dare to challenge the ascension gate. The spatial pressure inside the gate connecting to the higher realms is something only heavenly being cultivators can withstand. Changmun Yungjin responds. I, having practiced the Changmun clan's body refining techniques, can endure the spatial pressure. Changmun Ryong looks around and speaks. But for chi-building cultivators, resisting the spatial pressure is impossible. That may be true. However, I can protect one person at a time using my skills and make use of the teleportation array. Changmun Yungjin looks around at us and speaks. Since it's my mistake that led to this, as the clan head, it's only right for me to take everyone out. I'll use the teleportation array to take one person at a time and then come back for the next. If I take each person one at a time, we can all escape. Changmun Ryong's expression darkens at his words. But clan head, doing so might injure you. It's all right. It's my fault for entering the barrier out of greed, so I should take responsibility. I'll start by taking you with me, Changmun Ryong. He then points to me and Bu Qianghua in turn. After I've taken Changmun Ryong, I'll come back for you too. Wait here. I understand. Yes. Seemingly because of their kinship, Changmun Yungjin decides to take Changmun Ryong out first. It makes sense and he indicates that he doesn't intend to abandon us, so we readily agree. Then, let's see where this leads. Changmun Yungjin, protecting Changmun Ryong with his core formation power, jumps into the teleportation array below. Pat! The formation lights up, swallowing the two of them. It seems they have teleported successfully. Hopefully, they didn't end up somewhere dangerous. At that moment, PSSH. The teleportation array used by Changmun Yungjin fades and is extinguished. Bu Qianghua, in a panic, stutters as she looks at the formation. What just happened? Let me see. I examine the teleportation array, realizing the issue. Damn, it's a rechargeable teleportation array. Normally, it's maintained by drawing power from serving command palace, but once used, it needs time to recharge from the palace before it can be used again. Seemingly, Changmun Ryong had missed this in his haste. I explain this to Bu Qianghua, who looks anxiously outside the barrier. Does it take a lot of time to recharge? Red light from outside the barrier is slowly creeping into our area. I bite my lip and nod. Bu Qianghua, pale-faced, continues. By the looks of it, once the red light fills serving command palace, a more powerful golden order might activate. Such orders usually involve lethal mechanisms. Is there really no way? I clench my teeth and look up at the teleportation array on the ceiling. Clearly, the teleportation array that Changmun Ryong and Changmun Yungjin used leads directly opposite of this one. But now we have no other choice. Miss Book, there is one way. What is it? However, you must promise not to disclose this method to the Changmun clan. Yes? You have a secret. I swear I won't disclose it. Then, Wong. I grab the formless sword in my hand. Excuse me for a moment. I pull her closer with one arm and wrap both of us within the formless sword. It'll block the spatial pressure with the formless sword. Red light creeps towards us from outside the barrier. I glance outside briefly, then look up at the ceiling's teleportation array again. Here we go. Wait, hold on, you're too close. Pat. Enveloped in the formless sword, I jump into the radiance of the transmission array holding the two of us. Translator notes. We hit 100 chapters. Extra donated chapter by Sketlord. Thanks for the support. The ancient inscription seems like a huge foreshadowing, and the mystery deepens. Chapter 101 Lotus 9. Translating novice. Pythiate. Crufm. An immense pressure compresses the formless sword. Numerous colors and rays of light brush past us. I clench my teeth and endure, extracting more pure spiritual force to feed into the formless sword. How long did I manage to sustain the formless sword, teetering between life and death? Flash. Pot. The pressure on the formless sword disappears, and I realize that I am above a teleportation array. The air is different from inside Serving Command Palace. PSSHD. The teleportation array beneath us extinguishes. It seems that this teleportation array is also charged by drawing energy from the surrounding dragon veins. Where is this place? It's when I am surveying the surroundings. Wriggle. My apologies, Mississippi. I release Bu Qianghua, who is squirming in my arms. Phew. Oh, we made it out well. Either because she was hot from being in my embrace for a while, or due to the heat in her head from the pressure of spatial movement. Her face is flushed red. By the way, what was that thing you did just now? Something transparent seemed to cover us. That was... I'm about to divert the topic when I notice her face is still red. By the way, Mississippi, your face is still red. Are you feeling unwell? I am also a physician, so I can take your pulse. And no, answer my question first. What was that thing? Bu Qianghua, unusually emotional, shouts at me. She's probably tired from all these sudden events. I decide to divert from explaining the formless sword. Hem. First, we need to figure out the current situation. We are inside a cave. Looking at the structure of the cave, there are paths in all directions, like a maze. No, don't change the subject. What was that thing? It clearly emitted the power of core formation. Miss, let's first get out of this cave, and then I'll explain. Finally, Bu Qianghua seems to calm down a bit and nods. I survey the cave with her, looking for a way out. But due to the maze-like twists, every path we take leads back to where the teleportation array is located. This cave seems to be a formation. Indeed. But for such a formation, it doesn't seem artificially made, does it? I eye the maze, contemplating. It seems to be a natural formation, notoriously difficult to dismantle. Sometimes, the arrangement of trees, the shape of a cave, or even the terrain itself naturally forms a formation. Human-made formations have rules and principles, making them dismantleable if you can figure them out. However, for such naturally forming formations, the rules and logic follow nature, not human understanding, making their dismantling extremely difficult. I have learned Earth attribute methods, so why don't we just dig our way out with Earth tunneling? I have also learned Earth attribute methods. Let's dig together. Bu Qianghua and I form hand seals and simultaneously use Earth tunneling spells towards the cave wall. Kuguguguk. However, guguguk. Wait a moment. Earth tunneling seemed ineffective, and Bu Qianghua, realizing something, looks grim. This rock is called Strange Absorbing Rock, which absorbs spiritual energy. After absorbing spiritual energy, it disperses and distorts it, making spells ineffective. I silently sigh deeply. Phew, there's no other way. It seems I have to try that method again. Can't be helped. Miss, please step back for a moment. You're going to use that thing again. Her eyes light up, and she steps back a few paces, pulling out a notebook and brush. And why are you taking that out? Didn't I tell you? I'm going to create the best magic artifact suited for Cultivator CO. The more I know about Cultivator CO, the better I can optimize the magic artifact for you. Still not giving up on that. Oh, what's giving up? I sigh lightly and say, as I said, please keep this a secret from the Chongmun clan. Understood. I've already sworn. Then, Kuguguk. I seize the air. Consciousness mingles with Gangqi, transforming into the formless sword. The consciousness domain. Bu Qianghua observes from a distance and continues to write in her notebook. Crash bam. Crash bam. Before wielding the formless sword, I sent an internal energy blast to the cave's walls to check if internal energy could penetrate the strange absorbing rock. The strange absorbing rock seems to only absorb and distort spiritual energy, not internal energy, which is less pure compared to spiritual energy. It works. Then, it can be sufficiently penetrated. Kagugugu. Raising my momentum, I grip the formless sword and slash upwards. Severing mountain swordsmanship, ascending vein. Quagwagwang. The formless sword soars upwards, shattering the cave's ceiling and creating a hole through which the night sky strewn with stars could be seen. Phew, we made it through. I turn to Bu Qianghua, who has been watching me. She is absent-mindedly recording something in her notebook. Miss Book. I see. She nods with a somewhat defeated expression, realizing something. So you are a core formation senior. With such power, there's no doubt. Pretending to be at the Chi building stage while actually being a core formation senior. No wonder my magic artifacts didn't impress you. To a senior of your stature, who should be using a Dharma treasure refined with Dan, core, fire instead of a mere magic artifact, my offering was too weak. There seems to be a misunderstanding. I am not at core formation. Really? I extend my arm towards her. If you can't believe it, feel my spiritual power. I am really not at core formation. Just think of me as having mastered a unique core formation level technique. Seeing how insistently you say so, you must really not be at core formation. She sighs lightly and says, let's talk more once we're outside. Let's do that. Bu Qianghua takes out a leaf-shaped flying artifact from her belongings and throws it on the ground. Fed with spiritual power, the magic artifact grows large enough for both of us to ride on, and we ascend through the hole on the leaf. Whoosh! The sea breeze stings my nose. Where are we? I look around. We are surrounded by the sea. The cave we have emerged from is in a labyrinth on a small island in the middle of the sea. I confirm our location through the constellations. We are west of the heaven-treading desert. West of Xingzi, beyond the great mountain range where the golden divine heavenly thunder sect resided. It seems we are in the far western waters. No, more precisely a bit southwest. I estimate our approximate location by the stars. Then, if we fly northeast for a few weeks, we should see the great mountain range where the golden divine heavenly thunder sect was located. Fortunately, it doesn't seem we have fallen into a completely unknown place. It seems Changman Ryong and Changman Yungjin fell in the exact opposite direction, the far east, possibly in the states east of the heaven-treading desert. If I had fallen there, a place I've never been to, it would have been quite troublesome. I sigh in relief and look at Bu Qianghua. We're fortunate, Miss Book. If we head northeast, we'll reach a place I know. This seems to be an archipelago in the far west beyond the great mountain range of Xingzi. However, Bu Qianghua seems to have something to say, looking at me with a determined expression. Miss Book, I've decided. She clenches her fists and speaks. Even if Cultivator CO is a core formation cultivator, I will create a Dharma treasure suitable for a core formation cultivator. No, I am not a core formation cultivator, and then I will create an ultimate magic artifact that can be used at the Chi building stage and then can be refined into a Dharma treasure with Dan Fire when you reach core formation. I see it now. Creating a magic artifact even a core formation cultivator will covet is a challenge for myself. Don't stop me. I sigh softly. Since it's come to this, I need to show her that I really don't need a magic artifact. Just watch, Miss Book. Kagugugu. I grip the formless sword again, and then I swing it towards the sea beside us. Qua! The sea splits, causing a storm in the night sea. Gigantic waves sweep around, and I deflect not only the incoming waves, but every single droplet with the formless sword. I'm genuinely serious. I honestly don't need any magic artifacts. This formless sword is an overwhelming alternative over any magic artifacts and Dharma treasures. It can transform freely, its strength endlessly increases as long as my abilities support it, and its sharpness is indescribable. Its power, as you've just seen, is capable of splitting the sea and collapsing mountains. Moreover, as my consciousness grows, it grows with me, almost like a part of me. External objects like magic artifacts are meaningless to me. I see. She nods and says, thank you for explaining. I'll keep that in mind. I heave a deep sigh. It seems like she really has no intention of giving up. If that's the case, then I'll set a few conditions. Please, tell me. I set a few conditions for her, who seem even more fired up by the challenge. 1. The magic artifact should be easy to create even with ordinary materials. 2. The difficulty of its creation should be manageable enough that I could make it myself in the future. 3. It should be a magic artifact that can fully embody the limitless transformations of the formless sword. I wonder if this will make her give up. To create a powerful magic artifact with ordinary materials, numerous circuits would have to be engraved into the artifact. But since I requested a low difficulty in production, it couldn't have too many circuits. Yet, at the same time, it needs to encapsulate the formless sword's incredible versatility. In fact, these conditions are necessary for me, who undergoes an infinite regression. The materials need to be common enough for me to find, and the production difficulty has to be manageable enough that, if necessary, another magic artifact artisan can succeed in making it. And it needs to be beneficial for me, so it has to be able to capture the changes of the formless sword. In reality, these conditions are almost like asking her to give up. The production conditions are really demanding. Didn't I tell you? I really don't need magic artifacts. I'll give it a try. Yet, she doesn't give up. Really, she's going to attempt that? Well, suit yourself. Eventually, I decide to step back in the face of her determination. Then, shall we head back? I just remembered something. She speaks, pointing westward. You said this is the archipelago beyond the Shungzi's Great Mountain Range, right? Yes, but Bu Qianghua looks westward with curiosity-filled eyes. Then, if we go further west than the archipelago, there's a place called World's End. Can we go there? World's End? Yes, Cultivator CEO. You must have read fairy tales as a child, right? West, north, east, south. They say if you go to the end of each direction, you'll find World's End. I've always wondered how all this sea water doesn't fall off at World's End. Now that we're here, shouldn't we take a look at World's End? I laugh awkwardly. Having been immersed in the cultivation world for centuries with spells and techniques surpassing even that of the 21st century humanity, I have momentarily forgotten. The level of common knowledge in this world is medieval. There's no such thing as World's End. How do I explain that the Earth is spherical? After a moment's contemplation, I realize there's no need to explain it. If Changmun Ryong and Changmun Yungjin fell to the east, then heading west should bring us closer to them, right? It might not be a bad idea to travel around the world to reunite with them. I'll keep operating the telepathic communication device while heading west. If Changmun Ryong is within range, the device should work. Alright, let's head a bit further west then. I'm so excited. Seeing the legendary end of the world. Haha, I'm looking forward to it too. Bu Qianghua takes out a white boat-shaped flying artifact from her storage device. I made this artifact, so I'll handle the controls. Can Cultivator CEO infuse it with pure spiritual force? Understood. Soon after, the boat-shaped artifact speeds westward. 3 days have passed. What on earth is this? Wow, so this is World's End. Is this right? I feel dizzy in this utterly incomprehensible situation, completely beyond common sense. Come and see this, Cultivator CEO. Sorry, Miss Book. I feel a bit dizzy. Do you have air sickness from flying? No, just a bit tired, that's all. I see. I will continue exploring a bit more. Something is strange. This world is. It's like the sky is beneath my feet. Feeling dizzy, I turn my gaze towards where Bu Qianghua is looking. World's End. There, it's as if the seawater and the land beneath are cut off, with a completely blue sky extending beyond. As evening approaches, stars begin to rise from below. What does this mean? This world is not spherical. This world is flat and circular, abruptly ending like this. Is this really World's End? This is my first time seeing it too. Indeed, it's your first time as well, Cultivator CEO. Most people spend their lives inside the vast continents, after all. I slowly approach her as she observes the sky below from the edge of the world. It's truly fascinating, isn't it? This. Thud thud. As I approach and touch the emptiness, a transparent barrier seems to prevent anything from going beyond into the void. It's like a barrier preventing the seawater from pouring over. In the fairy tales I heard as a child, it was called the World Shield Force. It's supposed to protect our world from external worlds and, at the same time, prevent the seawater from leaking downward. I am not well versed in the fairy tales or legends of this world. No, I actually know them, but have always dismissed them as medieval superstitions and myths. Thud, thud, thud. I tapped the so-called World Shield Force a few more times. Miss, this World Shield Force, does it not only cover World's End, but also envelop the entire circular world? Yes, haven't you read the fairy tales? I see. I feel a sense of bizarreness about this strange and peculiar world. A transparent barrier covering the flat world. It's almost like an aquarium or a fish farm. What exactly is this world? Translator notes. Our MC isn't dull, he's just innocent zzz. Anyway, the plot thickens and the mystery deepens. Chapter 102, Lotus, 10. /Translating Novice. If this world is like a fish tank, then what exactly is the Ascension Gate? And what about Serving Command Palace? No, that's not it. I erase these wild speculations. Maybe this world is just naturally like this. Let's not overthink it. Above all, if this world is like a fish tank, then why would Ancestor Yang Sujin return to this confined space? Why would such a powerful being, who can tear through the void and come back down from the higher realms, do so? It's probably just the way this world is. Let's not get carried away with grandiose thoughts. Thinking too big might eventually lead to heart demons. A world that's not spherical. After all, when you think about it, it's a world where heavenly being cultivators freely roam across the continents. If the structure of such a world is exactly like Earth, that wouldn't make sense, would it? How strong would the world have to be to withstand all that? While I'm lost in thought. Speaking of a spherical world, it reminds me of another fairy tale I read as a child. Bu Qianghua points to the sky and says, in a fairy tale I read when I was young, it said that there are people that live in the astral realm far away, where the people cling to a spherical land. Isn't it funny? Living on a spherical land. Would the people on the bottom side have to keep hanging on so they don't fall off? I thought it was a fairy tale with really imaginative creativity. I look up at the night sky, now beginning to be covered by darkness. The astral realm. A A sky full of stars. Maybe those stars are proper planets? Is this world the only one with such a strange structure? Or are there more worlds like this with equally peculiar structures? If only this world is like this, why is it so bizarre? I ponder a few more things, but it only makes my head feel more complicated. Enough. For now, there's no way to know. The best thing to do is to become a heavenly being and then check the structure of this world myself. Yes, let's focus on what's in front of us for now. I calm my mind and board the ship again with Bu Qianghua, who has been admiring the sky at World's End for a while. Really, it's beautiful. The sky beneath our feet over there. Indeed. Sai, shall we go now? Yes. Clan Head and Chongmon Ryong must be worried. Let's return. Right. And if we're in the far western region, how long will it take to return to Biokra? At least a month or two, I would guess. My father will be worried. Seeing her concern for her father, I ask. Originally, the prize for Miss Book's wager was not the magic artifacts, but a tour with Miss Book herself. How about we count this as a tour on this occasion? Just hurrying back counts as a tour? Doesn't Cultivator CO feel it's a pity? What's there to regret? I'm originally a wanderer who used to travel around the world, so I've had plenty of tours. At my words, she smiles softly and looks out at the night sea. I sense a hint of regret in her intent. On the way back, let's still take a little tour through places like Shengzi and Yanghua. Yes, that would be nice as well. Why does it seem like she's still not cheered up? Her feelings of regret remain, leaving me puzzled. A few days later, we moved eastward, and we were finally able to reach the mountain range where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect used to be. This place is called Shattered Heaven Peak in the mountain range where the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was located. Miss Book must have heard of it, right? Book Qianghua marvels at the scenic beauty of Shattered Heaven Peak. The places that were destroyed by me and Kim Young-hoon in my previous life are still intact, bringing back memories. Pointing to one of the peaks, she says, I've read about it in ancient texts. The highest peak used to house the Heavenly Lightning Banner, a sacred treasure of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. It was said to be an incredible immortal treasure. As an artisan, it's a pity I never saw it. I wanted to see one of the three great treasures of the world, but I only saw the ruined Nether Crossing ship. The three great treasures refer to the sacred treasures of three sects that were renowned throughout the continent. The Black Ghost Valley's Nether Crossing ship, the Heavenly Lightning Banner of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, the Blue Sky Armor of the Heaven Creation sect. Each of these treasures are either an immortal treasure or a unique Dharma treasure that matches immortal treasures in significance. Especially notable among them is the Heavenly Lightning Banner of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, which is a true immortal treasure, as per the legend that golden deity Yang Sujin used it in the immortal realm. Like the legend of the Nether Crossing ship, which can traverse the realm of the dead, the Heavenly Lightning Banner is said to be able to artificially induce heavenly tribulations, its power and status evident even without seeing it firsthand. However, there's hardly any rumors about the Blue Sky Armor. Every time Sir Changho appears wearing that blue armor, it's likely the Blue Sky Armor, a unique Dharma treasure, but it seems to have no special functions other than appearing solid. Therefore, no one really knows much about the Blue Sky Armor. It's a secret of the Chongmon clan, and as an outsider, it's clear they wouldn't inform me. Well, I don't really care about immortal treasures anyway. Bu Qianghua is lost in thought, gazing endlessly at the highest peak of Shattered Heaven Peak, where the Thunder Banner was said to have resided. Just then, below Shattered Heaven Peak, several elders and youths, who look to be gathering herbs below, respectfully bow to us flying on our magic artifact. Bu Qianghua asks in surprise, why are those mortals bowing to us? We haven't done anything for them. Miss Book, have you never been outside of Cheonseek City? Well, not exactly. I haven't really left the eastern part of Biokra much. I did visit Yanghua, but that was just a short business trip for 3 days due to a magic artifact, and I hurried back. I see. I explained to her the mortals' perception of cultivators. In Cheonseek City and eastern Biokra, as it's the territory of the Gongmyo clan, quality magic artifacts are abundant, attracting many cultivators. As a result, mortals there are quite familiar with cultivators, whereas in Yanghua and Shengzi, the majority of mortals don't even know of the existence of cultivators, often thinking of them as immortals from legends. I see. I guess I understand why Book Jungho stayed quiet about the bet his daughter made with that Biok clan fellow, conditioning the bet on a tour. She seems too ignorant of the outside world. But those people down there seem to be praying for something? It seems so. Shouldn't we help them? After a moment of contemplation, I respond. Follow your heart. After all, she's not a malevolent person and even generously offered water to travelers in the desert, so her intervention with mortals wouldn't be a problem. Wawoom. She lowers the altitude of the flying artifact to approach those earnestly praying. Oh, look, immortals. The immortals have responded to our prayers. Immortals, please help our village. They plead in the language of Shengzi, and I translate for her. Oh dear. Elder, what seems to be the trouble? She asks the most earnest-looking elder, and I translate her words. What's the matter? Externally, it might seem arrogant, but considering my mental age, this elder honestly looks like a mere child to me. I'll be older than Yuan Li if this life goes on. With a self-mocking smile, I ask the elder, who hurriedly bows and answers. Ah, immortal. We wish you would help our village. Every fortnight, a centipede demon appears in our village, devouring young men and women of marriageable age. We've reported to the authorities, but they've been silent. We invited martial experts to defeat it, but they all became food for the centipede demon. Please help us. If they requested the authorities, the cultivator clans should have taken action. I sensed something strange and listened to their story. The village in the mountainous region of Sok was peaceful until one day, a centipede demon began to appear, devouring young men and women every fortnight. Although the demon seemed intelligent, it didn't understand other offerings, and after reporting to the authorities, suspicious-looking people visited the centipede. Yet since then, the authorities have ignored the village's pleas. Overwhelmed with frustration, the village of Sok invited martial art experts to capture the demon, but the experts were all devoured by the demon in turn, and their interference only provoked it to consume more villagers. After those suspicious people visited, the authorities pretended not to know anything. There must have been a deal between the cultivator clans and the demon. After deducing this, I share my conclusions with Bu Qianghua. What should we do, miss? It seems like a complicated situation. Do you want to help? After some contemplation, she nods. I want to help, as long as it doesn't interfere with Cultivator CO's schedule. Haha, I have nothing urgent. If Miss Book wishes to help, I will assist as well. Thank you. After our discussion, we addressed the waiting elder and other herb gatherers. We will help. Lead the way. Thank you so much. Following the elder's guidance, we disembark from the ship and head to Sok village. Many houses in the village are destroyed, and deep pits, seemingly the footprints of the centipede, are scattered around. Every time the centipede demon tries to attack, we try to stop it, but it just destroys anything in its way, finds the hidden young men and women, and devours them. Because of this, many people have created hidden spaces in their homes to hide, or they are preparing to leave the village. If the immortals hadn't offered to help, our Sok village might have been disbanded. I asked the elder, all right, do you know where the centipede demon lives? There's a large cave beyond that peak. The demon lives deep inside it. Bu Qianghua and I nod in agreement. Understood, we will go and check it out. Crossing the peak mentioned by the elder, we arrive at the cave where the centipede is said to reside. Human bones are scattered everywhere, and a tremendous energy looms within. So it's a late chi-building demon. I understand why the cultivator clans couldn't deal with this demon. A late chi-building demon is considered an elder level among cultivator clans, even among the high-ranking elders. It's unreasonable for core formation masters or venerable elders to intervene for mere mortal affairs. Wawoom. As we enter the cave, the centipede demon's consciousness echoes in our consciousness. Who are you? I stare into the darkness of the cave. Something rustles inside, and soon a giant centipede reveals itself. I also reply through consciousness to the centipede. Why are you attacking human villages and eating them? There are many other prey. Besides, remembering the reaction of the fox demon, I say, human flesh doesn't seem that tasty to your kind, so why specifically hunt for humans? The centipede rustles its antennae and replies, human flesh. If eaten, I can birth offspring like me. What? I am lonely. My kin don't have same intellect as me. When I have children, they live short lives. Before, I had friends I could talk to. One day, humans moving the heavens take all away. Ones with strong energy were taken, and now, only I, alone. I listened to the centipede demon's story. So, I thought, if I eat people with intellect, my offspring too will have it. Therefore, I ate those called maidens and bachelors, with pure blood among humans. Demon beasts are originally born by living long enough to obtain a demon core. But how long can ordinary beasts live? Typically, for an ordinary beast to become a demon beast, it either happens with extremely slim chances, or they are born as special species like the mighty tiger tribe, Holy Pung tribe, or the sea dragon tribe. However, ordinary demon beasts, not being of such special species, don't necessarily inherit these traits. Cultivators marrying each other have a higher chance of transmitting spiritual roots to their offspring. That's why there are cultivator clans. But what about demon beasts? They are collectively called demon beasts but are in fact entirely different species, and it's incredibly difficult for the same species to meet. Even if they mate, the chances of transmitting spiritual traits are lower than human cultivators. And such a thing is not solved by eating human flesh. Eating them won't make your offspring born with demon cores. No, they surely will. Who told you that? My instinct. Humans, even without demon cores, are smart. Surely, if I eat smart humans. I interrupt the centipede. There's no such thing. The only way for your children to become like you is for them to survive long enough to awaken and embrace their spiritual nature and form their own demon cores. No, your kind, those with spiritual power, come to me, say they support me. They consume the village, ask for my shed skin in return. It seems the cultivator clans left the centipede alone in exchange for its shed skin. For cultivator clans, the loss of 1 or 2 mortal villages are insignificant, and the centipede is unexpectedly powerful, so they pretended to support it while taking its shed skin. They just deceived you with their so-called support. Their encouragement doesn't suddenly make your offspring miraculous. Lies. Don't lie. Stop. Upon hearing my words, the centipede suddenly contorts its body in anger. My offspring, all become me. You too, pure maiden and bachelor, I eat you at my possible. Rumble. The centipede twists its body and emits poison. I counter the poison with my spiritual power and look at Bu Qianghua. It seems communication is futile. It looks like this creature has already consumed dozens of people. Yes, it seems right to end its life. She closes her eyes in sorrow, seeing the human bones scattered throughout the cave. I grip my formless sword and take a step towards the centipede. That's when it happens. Screech. The centipede lets out a scream, and thousands of bats fly out from deeper within the cave. Simultaneously, other centipedes, snakes, scorpions, and numerous venomous creatures crawl out from all around. Boom. The centipede lunges at me, who has drawn the formless sword, and I am thrown outside the cave. The creature, sensing my pure spiritual power, attacks me first, and the venomous creature summoned by the centipede rushes towards her. Miss Book, are you alright? I shout to her, who is being targeted by the venomous creatures, and Bu Qianghua silently activates her storage device. Thud, 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 thud. Dozens of flying sword magic artifacts, mirrors, lutes, bells, daggers, wheels, looms, drums, and hundreds of other magic artifacts burst out from her storage device, filling the space around her. Don't worry about me. Rumble. Numerous magic artifacts simultaneously activate, emitting light. I always keep my bag well stocked. As she speaks, flying swords and numerous magic artifacts fly out in all directions, repelling the venomous creatures and scattering powerful spells. I chuckle at the sight of her pulling out countless magic artifacts and scattering them around. No need to worry about her. I raise my formless sword, facing the giant centipede spreading a toxic mist in front of me. It's unfortunate about your offspring, but the humans you've eaten were innocent, and eating them has nothing to do with your offspring gaining spiritual nature. Yet, you insist on continuing to eat people, leaving me no choice. I swing the formless sword. In an instant, the sword transforms, clearing away all the toxic mist and striking the centipede fiercely. Tough. The centipede's carapace is quite hard. Even though I swung to clear the mist rather than to attack, I didn't expect it to block it in one go. Of course, the centipede, having taken a hit from the formless sword, is spewing venomous blood and staggering. It clearly isn't in good shape. Goodbye. I descend towards the centipede, embedding the formless sword into its head. Boom. It isn't much of a battle. A core formation level formless sword. For a late chi-building centipede demon, it really isn't a match. Screech, screech. Despite having the formless sword embedded in its head, the centipede demon struggles a few times. My offspring, my children. It murmurs and spews venomous blood for a moment. I won't die easily. A wave radiates from the centipede's head, spreading around. The wave reaches the venomous creatures summoned by the centipede, and those attacking Bu Qianghua suddenly scatter in all directions. That just now. Knowing demon language, I could understand the wave emitted by the centipede. This demon ordered the venomous creatures to continue attacking the village. Starting tonight, the venomous creatures will begin attacking the village. You ended it quickly. Miss, are you still thinking of making me a magic artifact after seeing that? Ahaha, it's a matter of pride for me. I will definitely make it. She clenches her fists and nods. Now that the centipede demon is dead, I have something to say. I explained the final command the centipede demon had given to the venomous creatures. Since we've agreed to help, we should take care of those venomous creatures too. Miss, do you have any ideas? After pondering for a moment, Bu Qianghua quickly comes up with a solution. Such a command ability typically lasts 3 to 5 months, maybe up to half a year at most. So, we can set up a protective magic artifact in the village that operates for about half a year. Since the venomous creatures attack only at night, we can just prevent them from leaving the village during the night. If they can hold out for about half a year, the rest should naturally resolve itself. Oh, it seems a magic artisan can be quite useful in this regard. That's a good idea. Yes, but... She looks around inside the cave and says, Shall we collect the remains? I call the people of Soak village, extract the poison from the cave with my spell, and let them enter to collect the remains of their relatives. Thank you so much. The village chief, in tears, retrieves his son's remains, takes my hand, and bows deeply. Really? Thank you. It's nothing. I calmly accept the chief's gratitude and inform him about the final command the centipede demon had given to the venomous creatures. That? How? Don't worry, my friend here will resolve that issue in a few days. I point to Bu Qianghua, who is also receiving thanks from the villagers, and I'll guard against the venomous creature's intrusion for those few days. Ah, thank you. The village chief bows to me, and then to Bu Qianghua. She doesn't understand the language of Shengzi but responds with a warm smile to the chief's gratitude. All the remains have been collected. Let's return to the village now. Just a moment, Cultivator Seo. Yes. Bu Qianghua points to the centipede demon's corpse, which had fallen down the valley below. Could you accompany me down there? Of course. We approach the vicinity of the centipede demon's body. Is there something you need? Oh, are you looking for materials for your magic artifact? She gazes at the centipede demon for a while, then smiles faintly. No, it's not that. I was just thinking of burying this demon as well. Bu Qianghua approaches the centipede demon and continues. After all, this demon was a mother to its offspring. Though it was a heinous demon that devoured innocent mortals, its actions were driven by maternal love, making it hard to view it as pure evil. And she fiddles with her jade narigi as she speaks. It somehow reminds me of my own mother. I understand. Let's bury it together. We simultaneously use earth spells to bury the centipede demon. Afterwards, Bu Qianghua takes a glass bracelet from her storage device and places it on the grave. It's said in Biokra that they place glass artifacts on the graves of the deceased. Now let's go. Yes. I follow Bu Qianghua, taking one last look at the grave she had made for the centipede demon, with the glass bracelet glistening on top. Soak village is in a festive mood. Having collected the remains of the deceased, and after a period of mourning, the absence of fear and the prospect of not having to flee the village seems to greatly uplift the villagers. We plan to hold a modest village festival, combining it with a memorial service for the deceased. Would the two immortals kindly grace the festival with your presence? I convey the chief's words to Bu Qianghua, who expresses curiosity and agrees to attend. Miss Book agrees to participate. Understood. And Sir Immortal? The village chief asks me. Should I participate? Not particularly interested in festivals, I hesitate. If your partner participates, why should you hesitate, sir? Hee. We are not exactly partners. Oh, I see. You haven't married yet. No, Miss Book is actually betrothed to someone else. Oh, I apologize. It's fine. I will guard the outskirts of the village against the venomous creatures while you prepare for the festival. After explaining the festival to Bu Qianghua, I head to the outskirts of the village. The sun is about to set. At this time, I notice a little girl outside the village holding a book. Child, go back to the village. The festival is about to start. Oh, Sir Immortal. The child looks at me and replies. I'm waiting for my sister. She said she will back soon. Is that so? Where did your sister go? My sister went over that mountain. She said she will come back after working at a rich house over that mountain. The mountain the child points to is where the centipede had lived. I look at the child innocently holding the book and waiting, unsure of what to say, and fall silent for a moment. By the way, what's that book? Oh, it's a book filled with old stories. My sister said she will read it to me when she returns, so I'm waiting here. I look at the child with a bittersweet feeling. It's late now, why don't you go inside? I'll wait a little longer. The adults in the village said, many people have returned today. My sister will come back too. Child, let me read the book to you. I wanted my sister to read it to me. I'm an immortal, aren't I? If I read it to you, it will bring you blessings. The child looks at me with innocent eyes and asks, really? Of course. Then please read it. I take the storybook from the child and use an earth spell to lift some soil, creating chairs for us to sit on. Wow, interesting, isn't it? Sit down. I'll read it to you. I open the storybook. Then, feeling as if my eyeballs are about to pop out, I involuntarily gasp. What? On the first page of the book, there is a subtitle. Chapter 1, The Ender's Tale. Chapter 103, Lotus, 11. /Translating Novice. The Ender's Tale? It's when I'm looking at the storybook with trembling eyes. Sir Immortal? Sorry. I'll read it to you. I read the storybook. The contents of the storybook are roughly as follows. Once upon a time, there was a supreme deity who ruled the heavens. The supreme deity had 7 beloved disciples, and one day, they had a great dispute with the supreme deity. The disciples left the heavenly realm ruled by the supreme deity and descended to the human world. The supreme deity, seeing that the 7 disciples did not obey his command, called them enders. But the human world was harsh, and the 7 enders shed tears of pain, longing for the heavenly realm. Seeing this, The supreme deity created a path to ascend to the heavens so that the 7 disciples could return and made it possible for them to reach the heavens by walking this path. It is said that the 7 Enders walked the heavenly path laid by the supreme deity, returned to the heavenly realm he ruled, and lived happily beside him, assisting him. This is the rough storyline of this tale. And then, shiver, shiver. For some reason, I feel a surge of disgust and fear rising from deep within my soul, taking over my body. I feel goosebumps all over my body for some reason. Why? This tale itself is a kind of fairy tale, intended to teach children the lesson not to leave home recklessly. But why? I feel something ominous in every single line of this tale. Especially at the end of the tale, the part where the Enders happily lived beside the supreme deity. It felt like chills were covering my whole body as soon as I read it. Sir Immortal, are you okay? The child, looking worried, tugs at my arm. I suddenly realized that I'm in a greatly shrunken posture with a distorted expression. It's okay. Just feeling a bit unwell, don't worry too much. What is this? I felt this emotion surge from a place deeper than my soul, in response to a sentence and content I have never seen before. Something is strange. What exactly is this story? Is there something else hidden in this book or on the paper? After reading The Ender's Tale, I move on to the next story. This is a tale I know. Fortunately, from the second story onwards, they are ordinary tales that I read before, like the story of a man who threw himself onto the ice to catch a carp for his mother to eat on a midwinter day, or the story of an old man who built a pagoda to offer a ritual to fate. These were tales conveying the lesson sincerity reaches the heavens, which I had seen before, and this time I read the tales to the child comfortably without feeling strange. Just then, this is also a story I've never seen before. The 13th chapter, The Tale of the People of the Spherical Land, is also a story I haven't read. It's the story of the content that Book Hianghua had narrated. It said that people live in a place called the astral realm, and they live attached to a spherical land. Wow, how do people live attached to the land? People living under the round part would fall down, wouldn't they? Indeed. I smiled bitterly and turned the last pages of the storybook. The last chapter of the storybook is about World's End, which I had seen before. It's about stories like if you go to the east, west, north, and south of the world, you would reach the world's end, and something like the world shield force surrounding the world. And, in the last chapter, there's a map roughly showing what this world looks like. In the center of the map, there's a large desert, and in the center of the desert, something like a small island is drawn. To the left of the desert are countries that seem to be Biokra, Yanghua, and Shengzi. To the right are various states. To the top, a large grassland. To the bottom, an endless sea is drawn. And, at the ends of each east, west, north, and south, there are clear boundary lines, and beyond these boundary lines, the sun, moon, stars, etc., are drawn. Is this the entirety of this world? Suddenly, I notice something very small drawn outside the map, a cylindrical object, and my eyes widen. Serving Command Palace? Is it also mentioned here? For a simple countryside storybook, the content is too detailed. And then, I suddenly notice another strange aspect of the storybook. Sir Immortal, look at this. The sun and the moon here. The child points to the sun and the moon marked outside the map and says, they look just like eyes. The map depicts the sun and the moon like eyeballs. Inside the golden sun, there are things like blood vessels and a pupil that is hard to see unless observed closely, and the silver moon is the same. The pupils of both the sun and the moon are facing the continent inside the map. Shiver, shiver. As soon as I recognize these as eyeballs, I feel chills running through my body again. What in the world is this place? Suddenly, the setting sun and the rising moon in the distance feel terrifyingly ominous. No, it can't be. It's just a book that a child in the countryside has. The person who made this book must have drawn it just for fun. I force a laugh, driving away the terrifying thoughts that came to my mind. But why? In a country child's book, is there a map with Serving Command Palace and even the ascension path of heaven-treading desert precisely drawn? Crack. Even after closing the book, the faint pupils drawn in the sun and moon don't leave my mind. What did the person who made this book want to convey? And, is there a hidden secret in this book? Could you give me this book? No. I have to read it with my sister when she comes. I make a troubled expression. How? Is there no way? The girl seems quite stubborn. Then, I see the sun setting in the distance. Night will fall soon. It's when venomous creatures will start to gather. By the way, child, shouldn't you go inside now? It's dangerous to wander outside at night. I'm waiting for my sister. There's a festival in the village today. Don't you want to see it? After a moment of thought, the little girl holds my hand and says, I'll go if you come with me, Sir Immortal. If Sir Immortal doesn't go, I won't go either. Eventually, I sigh and collapse the earthen chair I had created with a spell. Fine, fine. I'll go too. Soon after, I form another spell and create an earthen doll. Murmur, murmur. Using the Een Soul Ghost incantation, I cast a small curse and graft it into the earthen doll. Wow, Sir Immortal. What is that doll? It looks creepy. It's a cursed doll. Een Soul Ghost incantation includes a method to create cursed dolls and manipulate them remotely through curses. I could cast curses through the cursed doll and also input actions by infusing 1 or 2 curses. The founder of Een Soul Ghost incantation, who handled 108 curses simultaneously, was said to have created a human-like doll, infusing it with 108 curses and manipulating it just like a real person. Whoosh. The curse-infused doll wriggles awkwardly and stands at the edge of the village in my place. That will stand guard in my place. If something crosses the village boundary, the cursed doll will send a signal, and I can sense it and eliminate it from a distance. Wow, Sir Immortal, you are really cool. Haha, now that you've seen something interesting, let's hurry into the village. I take the child's hand and enter the village together. At the same time, forming another spell, I create 3 more earthen dolls, infuse them with curses, and send them to the 4 corners of the village. This should be enough for the defense. Oh my, is Cultivator CO also participating in the festival? Bu Qianghua, dressed in traditional festival attire of a pure white gown, sees me walking with the girl. Following the festival's rules, she only has a simple hairpin as her head decoration, like the other women in the village. Yes, thanks to this child. Wow, it's an immortal maiden. The child approaches Bu Qianghua and admires her dressed in the village's traditional attire. Although her appearance is not particularly outstanding, dressed in white and looking neat, she appears quite beautiful. Ah, is Sir Immortal also participating in the festival? The village chief and some village men approach and ask. Yes, but is there a problem? No, not at all. Just wondering if you've heard about the mountain festivals. Yes, I'm aware. Great Stone Ceremony, Recounting Celebration Ceremony, Twin Immortals Dance. These 3 festivals are the most famous, aren't they? Yes, this festival is the Twin Immortals Dance Festival among them. After people were taken by harmful beasts, we always perform the Twin Immortals Dance ritual to console our hearts and minds. In the mountainous regions of Shengzi, there's the Great Stone Ceremony, held once a year when lightning covers the entire mountainous area. Recounting Celebration Ceremony, a festival of scholars reciting classics and scholarly works, hosted by Shengzi, known for its scriptures and academia. And the Twin Immortals Dance Festival, famous for praying that such incidents of people being taken by beasts or monsters never happen again, if they do occur in the mountainous regions. I am aware. Oh, but to participate in the Twin Immortals Dance Festival, don't all participants need to wear the same outfit? I realize there might not be any spare clothes if I decide to participate on such a short notice. That's all right. We can get clothes that fit you from the young men of similar stature. Well, never mind then. If that's the case, I might as well not participate. You're saying that, but aren't you really saying not to participate? That's when Bu Qianghua approaches me and asks, what's the matter? Oh, I don't have clothes to participate in the festival, so I've decided not to participate. Upon hearing my words, she chuckles and says, oh, was that the problem? Please tell the village chief. I'll make clothes for Cultivator CO. What do you mean by that? Please tell him quickly. Although I'm confused, I relay her words to the village chief, who laughs heartily, nods, and then leaves. No, Miss Book. The festival is about to start. It's all right, just stretch out your arms. She quickly takes out a tool resembling a tape measure from her storage device, measures my body, and then takes something else out. Boom. Bang. From her storage device, something like a small model house pops out, and then drops in front of us with a bang. It's my portable workshop. Just wait for a moment. I'll make it quickly and bring it to you. After a while, there are sounds of rapid movement inside her workshop, and she comes out with a white Taoist robe. Is this a pre-made outfit from inside the workshop? I ask, glancing inside the workshop, astonished by the unreal production speed. Why would I have this region's traditional clothing in the workshop? Stop fussing and try it on. Huh, is this what they call extraordinary pattern law talent? Those with a natural talent for making things. I don't know about ordinary magic artifacts, but it seems she would whip up something like clothes in no time. I'm momentarily astounded by the speed, receive the clothes, and change inside her workshop. The outfit I received is a flowing white robe. Even the shoes match perfectly, making me look like a white heron to an outsider. It suits Cultivator CO quite well, doesn't it? Thank you. Miss Book, you look quite fitting as well. Oh, thank you. Boom. She then shrinks her portable workshop and puts it back into her storage device. I head towards the site of the festival that's about to begin. There, the village chief is busily overseeing the festival preparations. Ah, Sir Immortal, you've arrived. Haha, you look good. How many times have you seen the twin immortals dance? Actually, this is my first time. Until now, I've only read about the festival in ancient texts. The village chief strokes his beard and nods. It's an honor for our village to show Sir Immortal his first twin immortals dance. It's an honor for me as well to witness such a long-standing tradition. The festival has been passed down for 1600 years in the mountainous regions of Shengzi. I hope you enjoy it. I ask, surprised. 1600 years. It's quite a historically deep-rooted festival, isn't it? Yes. As legend has it, long ago, two immortals defeated a notorious demon in these mountains, and the twin immortals' dance began from the dance they performed together. That's why, when people are taken by monsters or harmful beasts, we perform the festival, praying for the miraculous power of those immortals so that such tragedies never happen again. The village chief suddenly looks overwhelmed with emotion and wipes his tears as he speaks. Until now, the village was too close to the habitat of the centipede demon, so when people were taken, we couldn't even think about recovering their bodies, let alone hold a festival with any hope. But now, just like the legendary immortals, two immortals appeared and saved our village, and I can't tell you how moved I am. I listened to the village chief's words while watching the festival preparations. Soon after, as the sun sets, the festival begins. The women and elders of the village play the drum and zither, while others pluck the pipa at home. The music, though, is not too frivolous, befitting a festival that mixes the atmosphere of comforting the deceased with a gentle melody. Then, young men and women gather in the center of the village. All dressed in the same white robes, the village women approach the young men and women, distributing a paper fan to each. Whether these fans are from their homes or not, they are all different in shape and equally worn out. Some even just folded roughly when there weren't enough fans. Flutter, flutter. On both sides of the clearing, scrolls depicting the two immortals from the distant past are unfurled. Then, the village chief prays for the souls of the deceased at the front of the clearing, asking for the miraculous power of the two immortals to prevent such tragedies from happening again. And so, the dance begins. The twin immortals dance is literally a dance where pairs of men and women, each holding a fan, dance together. Interestingly, at the beginning of the festival, the women's faces were covered with white cotton cloths, making it hard to recognize each other. Miss Book has completely withdrawn her divine consciousness. It seems like it wouldn't be fun if we both have our domain of consciousness, as we would recognize each other instantly. Thinking like that, I, too, close my eyes and transform my consciousness into the formless sword. Pairs start forming in the clearing. I drift around the edge without partnering up, launching my formless sword into the distance. Swoosh! A venomous creature, caught by the cursed doll's detection and trying to enter the village, is struck by the formless sword and bursts. Boom, boom. I dance casually, focusing more on the defense of the village from the center. Until Book Hianghua creates her magic artifact in a few days, it's only right that I do my best to protect the village. I should practice my footwork around the edges. While I'm practicing footwork similar to the twin immortals dance around the edges. In the distance, someone is drifting around like me, heading my way. Why are you drifting around, too? She seemed eager to participate in the festival. I approach Book Hianghua, who is awkwardly practicing her dance moves. As I approach her, she recognizes me somehow and looks at me. Is that you, Cultivator CO? Indeed, it's Miss Book. Why are you drifting around here? I thought you were eager to participate in the festival. The dance is difficult. She laughs awkwardly. Curiosity strikes me, and I ask, by the way, how did you recognize me with the cotton cloth covering your face? She hid her consciousness inside her head, like mortals, to enjoy the festival. She couldn't have used her consciousness, but she recognized me instantly. With the cotton cloth covering the front, you can only see the sides and the feet of the person in front of you. How could I not recognize you, Cultivator CO? The clothes, the shoes, I made them all. Why wouldn't I recognize them? She retorts. And how did you recognize me, Cultivator CO? My face is covered, and there was no feeling of consciousness. I begin to respond while matching her dance moves. I remember your breathing, heartbeat, body shape, scent, shape of your hands, and so on. Even if your face is covered, those things don't change. At my words, she's taken aback and asks, why in the world would you remember such things? That's because I'm about to say it's a habit from when I reached the peak, but realize it sounds odd. Even if I meant the peak of martial arts, she probably isn't interested in the realms of martial arts. It sounds a bit perverted. Should I just say it's a usual habit? I usually memorize people's breathing, heartbeat, body shape, scent, and so on. Somehow, that also feels incredibly creepy. Why am I even worrying about this? It's not only about people, but I also apply this sense to the surrounding environment, so I never felt it was strange. Well, let's keep it simple. I choose the most normal-sounding answer I can think of. It's just that, Miss Book, you are particularly memorable. Yes, This should sound normal enough. We gradually match our dance steps, moving from the edge of the clearing towards the center. Is something wrong? I glance at her. Bu Qianghua has said nothing in response to my answer. Is she feeling unwell? For some reason, her neck above her clothes is flushed red. Miss Book, are you alright? Miss Book, stop talking, Taoist Sio. The dance is complicated enough without you confusing me. Haha, sorry about that. The tips of the fans we are holding brush against each other. At the same time, my formless sword encircles the village, driving away the venomous creatures rushing towards it. I step to the left 3 times, completing a full circle. Bu Qianghua moves just like me, also turning a full circle, and once again, our fan tips brush against each other. Before we knew it, we had entered the center of the clearing, and the second act of the dance began. Rustle, rustle, rustle. The young men of the village began to remove the white cotton cloths covering the faces of their dancing partners. I, following the others, removed the cloth covering Bu Qianghua's face. Ah, finally, I can see. She seems overheated from the cloth, her face flushed and warm. Once again, our fan tips brush against each other. We take another 3 steps to the right, completing another circle. My formless sword as well circles the village, forming several overlapping rings and scattering in all directions with numerous transformations, repelling the venomous creatures. In the center of the village, numerous torches, the drumming, the zither, and the plucking peepas resonate, along with the footsteps of the youth. Miss Book, even though you can see, you seem to be struggling with the dance. Are you not good with physical movements? Are you teasing me about being uncoordinated, Taoist Sio? Considering how you couldn't even dress properly, you're not one to talk, are you? Haha, my apologies. Our fan tips brush several times, and we chuckle, teasing each other amidst the unique festival of the mountainous region. Some are laughing, some are crying, and some are beating the drums. Others are praying in front of the scrolls depicting the 2 immortals. On the scroll is an immortal wielding a spear and an immortal with a ribbed fan, depicted after they had defeated the evil demon. The 2 immortals, having laid down their weapons, were drawn dancing in a circle, holding fans. The immortal with cloth covering their face and the other with a ribbed fan were only depicted with their mouths, but both were smiling gently at each other. Translator notes. Extra donated chapter by Twisted Umbrella and Linka. Thanks for your support.